Champagne Villanova. Oh, Philly, City of Champions just goes on and on and on.
Is there anything they don't win?
No, they won it all. Won the Stanley Cup again this year. They won the World Series. They won the Preakness. How they pulled that off? We are well, first of all, it's the ugliest, nastiest day of the year. I just think, honestly, out of every day this winter, that shit that is going on outside of New York City, cold, nasty,
disgusting,
rainy shit. We get it, God. You don't like us. Fine. We thought that hell was just being apart from you. Is this it? No more fires of damnation. Thank you, Pope. I wish you would have told me that when I was 6, laying there going like this. I don't want to burn. Dear God, don't let me burn. I know we got a couple of masks we got to announce, but we're not ready today, are we, Chris?
Not ready. We will be announcing tomorrow.
And we're going to announce... It's so funny. Tomorrow,
Ron.
We're going to announce tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollars. I'll get people pregnant. We started fucking singing that. Bananas. You're starting to talk. Bananas. Every time I hear music, I get a little kicking.
Yeah.
I just have to say that, look at Holly from St. Pete sent this, and it's beautiful Florida sweets, all the different types of desserts in Florida.
That is so sweet.
But it's like she didn't want to let all you guys down by going like, I pick Ron. So because you're all infants, she sent along a bunch of other candies.
Little candy bags for the kids.
Old school candy. Leave it in. Gonna get you pregnant outside behind a junior high school bike rack.
She included a Charleston chew, which she knows I love to freeze.
What are these things right here? These little...
Those are flying saucers?
Is that the name of them?
I think
the official
so.
name?
I haven't had one in so long. What?
The sour, right?
No, they're
just
kind of... they almost seem like Japanese candy where they're fairly tasteless, but then there's little dots inside.
Yeah, there's like little things inside.
I got some Big League Chew.
No offense, Chris, but with your ass, I don't know if candy is the right thing. We were in a long discussion about you in an intervention type way.
Really?
Because one of the members of the team go, you can't get food poisoning as much as Chris claims to get food poisoning. He tells us 35, 40 times a year that he got food poisoning.
Constantly.
Now, everyone acts like they know whether they got a stomach flu or food poisoning. But I talked to some experts last night, Chris, and they believe you have, I believe it's pronounced colitis. Colitis, is that the name of it?
Yes.
You have some kind of bowel problems. And the doctor said that the explosive diarrhea that you get on a regular basis could not be anything else.
First of all, this is a person who claimed to have shit himself 4 times over the course of a weekend.
That I did not even know.
Yes, it happened 4 times. Once on Friday night, once on Saturday, once on Sunday, and then once on...
Were you with your chick at the time?
Oh, no, I told her to get away from me. Stay away from me. I was
and you
in my
stay
home.
at your place?
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
In your shit house.
My literal shit house. And then Monday morning, it happened.
Well, you could die from colitis if it's untreated.
See, I think what happens is I'm lactose intolerant, and it hasn't been diagnosed.
For somebody who's lactose intolerant, you have cheese with every meal.
I know, so I don't learn.
I could be totally wrong, but I thought that being lactose intolerant makes you constipated.
I think it goes both ways.
Okay.
But this time was true food poisoning, where I was vomiting, defecating nonstop.
I think that you should go and get that hose up your ass.
Yes.
Because God, first of all, for as young a man as he is, there's constant trips to the doctors, constant trips into different places.
CAT scans.
Yeah. Well, this colitis that you're now suffering from. And one person told me they thought you had Jew belly. And I go, honestly, he's fucking 20% Jew which you just found out about.
Yeah.
And you're sick about 20% of the time.
That's starting to make a lot of sense. I might have Jew gut.
I also bought him a colonic for Christmas that
He
he still
did.
hasn't used.
I haven't
Go get
had
that-
time to use it. It's all the way downtown.
Go get that colon pressure washed.
I had a choice between the Bronx or downtown, and I went with downtown to make it easier for him, and he still hasn't used it.
Well, first of all, I love that you had a choice between the two.
Well, I don't see him wearing his Power of Veto necklace anytime around
It's
here.
not season.
You know he wears it.
You know when he wears it, too. But you can't have an asshole like this, Chris. It's not good. It's not good.
I don't like it. I didn't like my this past weekend.
I honestly think the trip to Austin is the worst thing for you because you're going to be burritoing it up.
He is.
Or as
He's
you
gonna
call
be
it, food poisoning.
He's going to just put queso on everything.
Yeah, it's going to be delicious.
He's going to be sweating.
I'm just going to stay hydrated this time. I learned my lesson from last year. I'm just going to drink more water.
Stay hydrated. You were pounding water. It's nonstop. That was part of the
Because I
problem.
wasn't having water before.
We meet with Don after the show today about the trip, and I'm going to say, what did Chris do last year? I promise you I'm going to say that during the
What
meeting.
the fuck?
Because that's when Don thought you were going to have a heart attack.
And he really took us, like, we joke with you about it, but he really took us aside in a very serious way. With
And I had to go on
health
stage
concerns.
in a fucking second.
It's not the right time to do that.
No, that's always with you.
And
It's like it was right before I go on stage. People are asking me questions about your health.
Are they asking how well the show's going? Because they go well. All right, Austin went
Oh,
perfect.
that has nothing to do with you. None of the stuff of how these things go have anything to do with you. Look at you. You're hitting water now like a nerve wreck. Look, let's get this back.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want to just get a colonic or go in there and get the fucking, what do they call it when they put a camera up your asshole?
Colonoscopy.
Yeah. Call Katie Couric.
Yeah. Just
You're
let
in a
us
twilight
take a little peek up
sleep. You
there.
like that.
Twilight sleep does feel good. I'll get the colonic once I find whatever gope.
Now, I was going over this colitis thing.
Yeah.
Now, your diarrhea, both blood and pus in it?
It's there's a tinge to it, Ron. I'll tell you that much. Yes.
A pink U?
There is a U, sure. Through the muck, yeah, there's a
Do you? Why are you shitting yourself? Sit on the toilet.
It's sharding, dude, all right? I think I have to fart.
But don't shart when you have a 4-day case of diarrhea. Don't fart.
Diarrhea, and you feel the need to do that just for safety reasons. Go to the toilet. Like, if you told me you shit yourself once over the weekend, I would go, "Oh, it must have been really bad." But 4 times means just laziness.
Look.
No, what it is right there is wanting to shit himself.
No, I don't want to do that.
And I bet
so
there are
cold.
fucking 4 pair of fucking underwear in the corner. You know what I mean? He just chucks them in his short corner.
Short corner.
Boom. It's Shark Week, starring our own Chris Stanley. Please, would you go? And I'm going to talk to Don about your colitis today.
Do not bring up my possible colitis to Don. I've not been diagnosed yet.
Let's bring it up just so he knows for Austin.
God damn it.
I don't want to take you to Austin and have you sharding all over the place. Where's the mushroom head? Trippy, you ready for another fucking trip into the desert? You want to do peyote buttons this year?
No more tripping for me.
You can't let
Tripping
him
ain't
near
easy.
Austin. He's going to be peer pressured and eating
I got
drugs
Pop
again.
Rocks. Why don't I give you one of these and a Coke and see if you don't choke to death?
I mean, that sounds
This
pretty
actually excites me, though. Look at this. Fruit stripe gum.
I know I have not had this in so long.
This is 2 chews of a delicious taste that goes right into nothing after that.
Do you know, I mean, I guess this wouldn't happen for anyone else because this would be generational, but I remember as a child, I thought that this was the Toys R Us giraffe, and I thought that this was like a Toys R Us brand of gum.
No, this was around long
Yeah.
before. This was around like when fucking silent movies were going on, I think. Hold on, I just saw this. Tattoos inside. Collect all to wet 'em and wear 'em.
It's not the wedding I'm so excited about.
Wet 'em and wear 'em. Somebody fucking got a high five for coming up with that. Got whistle pops. This fucking a wax Fez mustache.
Smell this. Like that's the gum, but I haven't smelled that smell like since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's like a
Even the smell goes away after a half second, not just the flavor. The fruit stripe should be, you'll miss the flavor seconds after biting into it.
You've never missed a flavor so much. Chris, you should probably avoid all of this, though, for your colitis.
I'm sticking to liquid-based foods. Your soups, your waters.
Look, Vito put up Queen Elizabeth as Queen Elizabeth from Twitter. Hello, Queen.
Not from England.
Hey, how are you?
Ron, hey, Gail. I'm good. The city of winners.
You are just the city of gigantic winners right
to
now.
you.
We can't even help it now.
No.
My husband has colitis, and Chris sounds like, it's all the same symptoms, but you have to, watch what you eat. There's medication to take. You can't just, eat with a snow shovel and then expect everything to,
That is what he eats.
go down easy.
It's good to do that, though.
You say that,
your
Chris,
body
but,
like a garbage dump.
well, first of all, it would be considered that. But, Chris, aren't you worried a little bit about shitting yourself until you're dead?
Yeah, I don't want to shit myself until I'm dead. But this is like a real, true bad case of food poisoning. Other times, yeah,
No.
sure, the runs.
You just say food poisoning all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
are you eating out of a dumpster?
No, I'm eating on fucking 49th Street.
But here's the thing.
Obviously, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, where he eats, he goes back to places that he swears gives him food poisoning.
Yeah.
But there isn't any. You know how many? If you ate tuna fish on 49th Street, there would have been thousands of people would have made the fucking paper, dude.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. Maybe I got a bad batch. I don't know.
These things are made in big fucking tubs.
Yeah, it's a vat of mayo-based salad.
Swimming pool of old fucking dolphin meat.
I mean, even in medieval times, they got dysentery and died.
Yeah.
Well,
but
it's
you had a longer
2018.
stretch.
No, it isn't, dude. The number one fucking killer on this planet is dysentery.
It's 2018 in New York City. I'm not going to get dysentery and die.
Why? It's the same dysentery. It's untreated dysentery is what kills people.
Yeah,
it's
they
not the
can't
Black
get to
Plague.
a doctor. You just
Like
don't
you.
want to.
He goes to doctors constantly. Oh, my shoulder, my neck, my fucking.
I had to have shoulder surgery and knee
But
surgery.
it's fucking constant.
It was like 4 years ago.
I mean,
Shoulder surgery? That sounds made up.
I was in a cast.
like I said this. When I said it to fucking Pennsylvania last year, part of your job is to stay healthy. You know what I mean? Nobody was like, "Oh, Bradford is a good quarterback," but
working.
What's that, darling?
Wait till that liver stops working. See how bad it gets then.
You were already told that your liver is shit, right?
It is mild fatty liver.
When you thought that you had cancer.
Yeah, when they said they
Hey.
sent me in for 2 fucking CAT scans. Look at my
Chris,
scored up. Yes, Queen Elizabeth.
I'm not meaning to be a downer, but
Really?
my father
Shocking.
was an alcoholic and died of
So was mine.
cirrhosis. Basically, it is not an easy way to go. And I'm
Bullet
telling
is
you
easy, though.
that.
No
Bullet is
shit.
though, Chris.
It is not an easy.
Take the coward's way out,
to
my
go.
friend. All right, thanks, Queen. Talk to you
All
later,
right,
darling.
guys.
Bye.
Bye, Queen.
Everyone
the fun
worries
facts.
about fucking Chris's health, and that's why a lot of people wrote to me that they're pretty sure he has colitis, and that needs to be treated. And you have to change the way you eat. You can't eat dumpster tuna anymore. Hot dumpster tuna.
This tuna isn't hot enough. Throw it back in the oven.
But your own self-diagnosis is basically that you have what? Oh, you're lactose intolerant.
I think I have to be lactose intolerant, and that makes sense because of the Jew blood.
Doesn't make sense.
Ashkenazi Jewish blood.
Here's King's. Nice fake cigarettes.
Lucky Lights, because I'm a lady.
I will say this. This might be the best and worst candy right here. This is the fucking dots that are on paper. We used to call them micro dots, but I don't think that was the right name because that was an acid.
Yeah.
But you bite them off the candy off the paper. You get a nice taste of candy and a little bit of paper.
There's paper in my bite.
Now, this hasn't changed here. as you change the colors on these things, these one row gets a little bit of both colors.
Yeah, I like that.
I've always found that to be incredibly exciting when you got a row like that.
It's interesting because I guess as a kid I found these to be delicious, and just now I was like, oh, this is just sugar flavored. Like they don't have a flavor other than sweetness.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah, you just bit some sugar off a piece of paper.
Die.
I have wax lips.
I have like a little thing here, and I always knew how to bite them and seal it before I took it back out of my mouth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I could make one of these last as long as an actual sody pop.
I had to chug them.
You would just make the hole at the top, chug, and then what? Chew the wax?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You gotta chew the wax.
You ever notice in like this, most of these, I guess, are 1960s candies. They never went for the sour the way the kids eat today. It always shocks me that the younger kids prefer sour over sweet, and they make it like, oh, this is terrible, and yet they still do it.
Yeah, my brother always liked a sour candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I love the sweet tart. I love
Well,
the fucking
sweet tart is sweet.
No, but then it's tart. Then it becomes
Yeah, but it's
sour.
also
afterwards.
sweet and tart.
I'm talking about
Like a warhead or something.
a terrible sour thing. But you come up with like
Something with mild acidity.
he's like, I like a sugar cube and a big fucking bag of hay. Dude, why do you, when you act like sweet tarts are one of the best things that's ever happened to the human race?
They're delicious.
It's the only. Thank you, Chris. It's the only thing that's going to bring North and South Korea together. I'm talking about this hideous, sour ass shit that fucking kids, they'll actually get sores on the inside of their mouth.
You can get like sores and your tongue could go raw.
Oh, Chris wants to know he likes the chiclet. Look, you Cletus fucking. I think there's also a thing of him that he just wants to dodge work.
No, that's not true. I like
Some people are addicted to the sympathy that they get when they're sick.
I thought that he tried to get sick the night that Vito and I were out with him, and he ate a raw steak.
No, that was just the way I like steak.
You told them don't put it on a hot plate.
Are you trying to get a tapeworm? Because I knew somebody who did that.
On purpose?
Yeah, she wanted to get a tapeworm to lose weight, so she was eating raw bacon.
Yeah.
And then she just got really sick and she didn't get a tapeworm, so then I think she just ordered one, perhaps on the dark web. I don't know. But I think
Chris
it was
goes
from
on the
down
dark
Mexico way or something. And she sent for a tapeworm and she ate it, and boy, did she lose weight. Because she had a
Remember what yesterday Chris was bragging about losing 10 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Shitting it out?
Yeah, that's what he said.
He said he thought he saw one of his organs just dangling out of his asshole.
Stuff that back in there.
He also does want the sympathy thing.
I think he does. Some people are really addicted to that.
He said that he wishes that he had a sickly baby that he could put on the internet, make money with.
Oh my God.
Just one GoFundMe after another.
He asked to adopt an AIDS baby, and they said, well, what reason? He goes, for the money.
It's an investment.
I love being on the internet making money. Well, I've called Don in for this very reason. And he's the one who saw you last year have the complete fucking meltdown.
Yeah. He actually came to us about
the
it
meltdown
first.
of sitting down and drinking water.
Here's the thing.
real
I
freak
would
out.
love, well, it was why people were being seated and a show was going on.
Yeah,
And you were making noises throughout the entire unmasked.
I was in the very back next to the front door.
Everybody heard you.
And
I saw you, and you had the fattest pair of fucking basketball shorts on while you were doing it.
Yeah, I wanted to cool down.
It was extra embarrassing.
I looked over and he was grabbing his heart at one point.
Bullshit.
He was hugging the water cooler, and it was disgusting everybody away from drinking out of it.
That is true.
He was like,
and then he and his fat twin brother got on mini bikes and were riding down with their ass cheeks hanging off the sides. No,
Great
you
trip.
can't make this fucking trip this year.
I'm going to Austin, Ron.
Who's the bonfire producers? The bonfire is going to be down there. I'll see if I can't just borrow one of theirs.
That's a good idea. You need someone with you who you can trust, who doesn't have
Who
to
are their
drink
big
water
producers?
all the
You got
time.
White Lou, you got Black Lou, and you got
Obviously, White Lou. You know what I mean? If that's my fucking picks, that goes without saying.
And Christine,
I couldn't fucking afford. I mean, she's the one that makes the trains run on time. You know?
Yeah.
Because that bonfire is whacked out half the time. She's like walking around with John Norman Howard Speedway. She's fucking Jay's heading to the stage. She's pulling off one shirt and putting on another. He's like an hour and a half late for the shows. You part of my imagination, or I'm one of yours. Here's Sean in Texas. Hey, Sean, what's up?
Hey, Chris could also have Crohn's disease, which is also a form of ulcerative colitis.
Yeah, that came in by one of the doctors I told you. I was talking with 4 different specialists last night.
Wow.
All 4 thought that he had one of these.
Would he be thinner if he had Crohn's?
No.
I almost died in 2014 of Crohn's.
Boy. I could be Chris. Old fucking Chrome.
I know. And I'm a big fat dumbass alcoholic too.
Don't say
Oh
that
my
about
God,
yourself
Chris!
and me.
Check. That's you.
Right?
All right, man. There's a fucking fella Chrome head, dude.
Where my chromies at?
You're joking now.
Crohn's.
Chrome if you want to. Chrome it out your ass. This is Rome. We live in Rome, like John Lennon said. When's that coming up? Friday?
Friday. 2 p.m.
And then all weekend long. Rocco.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had to rank what's more embarrassing out of the 3, would you say sharding your pants, shitting in a bathtub, or taking a shit while you're in the shower?
But first of all, Chris has done all 3 over the weekend.
So let me think.
Over his 4-day fucking rock pile.
Put it in order, Chris.
Let's see. I think sharding is the most embarrassing because you have clothes on. I think shitting without clothes on is much less embarrassing than shitting with your clothes
In a
on.
tub. Where you're sitting in
your
own
bath water.
Yeah.
Now you're in a shit
He didn't know
tub.
there was another fucking... He shits like this. Boom. Boom. Fucking little shit bubbles are coming into the pot. It's just popping. And he's fucking putting his face in it.
God, that's fucked up.
So you enjoy this then, Chris?
Not at all.
I'll tell you one thing. You got the most embarrassing death I've ever fucking heard in my life.
I'm still alive.
Yeah, but...
I mean, odds are that will happen.
I wouldn't mind putting you on waivers right now.
Why? Fuck that.
I can't have a fucking guy who's aging out on me. I might. I know that fucking the bonfire does love you. Well, one of them. The other one knows what you're up to. Soder knows that you're trying to replace him. They're talking about a spinoff with Billions with him. Mm-hmm. So you would go, and I would get, according to them, Black Lou, White Lou, and a bag of mini donuts.
That's a good trade.
Yeah.
I prefer to stay here, Ron. I like it here.
Yeah, I know you like it here, but you have to somehow fucking move into a halfway home that will have all the kind of machines that it needs to keep you alive.
As of right now, I need no machines to keep
Dude,
me
right
alive.
now, it's like doing a fucking show with Rocky Dennis as your fucking producer. You're in bad shape for a young man. You're in terrible fucking shape.
Look, I got a little bout of something bad. I'm bouncing back from it. It's going to be fine. I'll get this colonic, clear that thing out.
But when was the last...
Go get a colitis checkup. Look, I think everything's look good.
When was the last
Gail.
time you said that you had food poisoning? It was not that
It's
long
all
ago.
the time.
But see,
It's constant.
I think I might be overreacting when I say that.
I know. But he calls food poisoning. He goes, I'm hungry. You want to go out for food poisoning?
It'll be so worth it.
What food poisoning did you want for after the show today? It's your day. What would you like? Seriously.
I'm only eating soup, so I want big. I'm not going to order a giant pot of soup.
Oh my God!
I can't eat anything solid.
You're a fucking young man that you can't eat solid food.
I can eat solid food fucking like 2 days.
Look, take that soup, pour it into your underwear because that's where it's gone in another 10 minutes.
He said if he ordered soup for the show, it would be one communal bowl instead of just individual bowls.
I'm ordering one giant soup for everyone.
Do we each get a ladle?
Yes.
I'd like us all to gather around the cauldron together, grab a ladle.
You're like fucking living with Kiss of the Spider Woman. Just fucking constant fucking sweats, fever sweats. We got to keep you out of fucking Austin. They just went through a mad bomber.
I know, they don't need this.
I'm totally safe to go to Austin.
Yeah, but you're useless once you get down there.
I'll be very useful.
Ron needs support down there.
All
Thank
I'm going
you.
to do is support Ron.
Really? Because you
Yes.
didn't even check on me over the weekend. And they gave me a milkshake up there that I swear to God had no milk. I just put it to the side.
That's terrible.
And then the next day, why go in? The next day, it was still the same texture. Nothing had melted. I don't know whether astronauts used it, but no one on life would call this a milkshake. I can't think of the name. It was like a burger place just for fucking Connecticut. And it was like, you gotta go there. It's a rite of passage. All the comics stop on the way out of town. I go, well, I don't want a fucking cheeseburger. You got to. Try their fries. Like, there's a fry I haven't experienced before. You know what I mean?
Was it waffle?
There's not. No, I've
What is
experienced
this,
that.
shoestring?
There's not a fucking fry. I haven't ever tasted and gone, oh, yes, I've had this fry.
Chris, you said steak fry, but I almost don't even consider that a fry.
I don't like them. I was just throwing it out as an option.
What do you consider slices of potato?
Yeah, it's like anything that's like a wedge or a steak fry.
You don't think that one potato should produce more than 4 fries?
I do.
Dave, in Michigan, you're here for the latest fucking Chris health talk.
That's so funny. Dump that soup in your underwear. Still laughing. Chris, you got the same symptoms I had, and they found out that it was my gallbladder.
Okay. Throw that on the
And once
list.
they took out my gallbladder, I could freaking eat anything. So
I like taking things out of me.
Do you need it though? Is it something that you need?
No, it's not a heart.
yeah,
It's a gallbladder.
yeah.
Doesn't it do something?
Yeah, it's like the bladder, but it's a little more galling. As young as this fucking guy is,
Young buck.
we have to constantly talk about his health like
All
he
the
was
time.
grandmama and come up with constant excuses of why something didn't get done, which he always goes back to health reasons. And like, guess what? If your health is that bad you can't do your job, maybe you need to go on some kind of government assistance.
Jesus Christ.
What percentage of the conversations this team has would you say involve either Chris's physical or mental health? Like
Mental health? That's
yes, like
It's all the same.
yes, the stress, because usually you're manifesting it in a physical way, and they're like, I think it's the stress. Like it's really often that we're concerned
Right.
about your
What-
stress level.
By the way, stress just means you can't do your job. You know what I mean? If you're like, oh, I'm so stressed out, I can't do my job. Yeah, that means you can't do your job. Your job is too much for you. You know what I mean? There's some other fucking shows that you might be a part of here because they don't get anything done.
You'd love that.
I'm happy here.
Are you?
Yes.
I've never once seen you smile. All I know is that you'll go out of your way to eat bad tuna so you can have a couple days off.
It was over the weekend.
Just gonna turn off my phone
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
shit
Did I take
myself.
off over the weekend?
You did not.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, we're all in it together, aren't we? I want you to think about this when you're in the back of the fucking plane. I'll be discussing it. Why this plane I'm going down on has a hot tub, so that should be exciting.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't think Chris is gonna get in that.
No, Chris's has a hard bench. You can put 5 or 6 people
No
on
assigned seating, just a hard bench. And bench seating is now open.
bench H. Run, so you don't get the middle. Chris, why don't you just fucking go down sitting on the toilet the whole fucking long way?
It's not a bad idea.
So you're fucking shitting over Kentucky.
I'm sitting here on the bench.
I'm sitting here on the Group W bench. I don't know. So we're not announcing Colin Quinn tickets yet either, right?
Not yet, no.
Why? We know we have it.
Yes.
What's the big secret?
What are you too busy wiping?
No.
I'm worried he isn't wiping.
It's dry back there, Gil.
Paul, Alabama.
Hey, Chris, I had a buddy that had his gallbladder taken out and was no longer able to drink after that. Made him too sick after it, so just be careful.
This fucker can't drink now.
I'm not getting my gallbladder out. I doubt it's the gallbladder issue. I ate some bad tuna. I'm going to avoid fucking eating on 49th Street from now on.
It's not the whole street's fault.
I had a lot of bad times in that street, food-wise.
Because that's where you eat.
Yeah.
If you change it to 47th Street, you'd be fucking shitting down there. It's your gallbladder.
That's where he eats?
The one thing you're told not to do.
Can't stop myself.
He comes in. This is him. This is him at Chick-fil-A. I'll have a. Okay, I'm a little wet in the pants right now. You'll have to excuse me. I've just shit myself. Now, does that come with fries? Is that considered a special?
Combo.
Now, how much is your Grand Slam? It's constant. I can't wait to this fucking meeting to expose this fucker to Don. I will expose him. I go, you remember last year when he was holding on to a water during a show? No, this is what made him fucking pass out too. Yes, and your name is? Okay, we'll seat you right away. That was strenuous fucking work for him.
It wasn't strenuous. It was fucking the goddamn Austin sun made me dehydrated.
We were inside, son.
We were
also
outside
spring.
before that.
I mean, you're talking about a city that gets up to 103. I mean, it was
It was 80.
Yeah,
it was 80 in April.
Right, it was sweltering.
And you took a cab from the hotel 2 blocks away from the
I
venue.
did. Yeah. Because I knew I was overheating.
Even the car didn't overheat. Why would? And by the way, there were hundreds of people there. No one else overheated. Everyone else was outside.
Yeah, they had water, Ron. I didn't. I wasn't.
You had the fucking
clean
jug.
water.
You had the jug.
After the show started.
Were you drinking out of a bottle down there?
I was dry, man. I was fucking dry mouth most of that fucking trip.
You're such a fucking liar.
I never lie.
They sold hotel in our they sold water in our hotel lobby, Ron. He was drinking a lot of water, putting it on the room bill.
Yeah, after
what? That doesn't go on the room bill, Chris.
Everyone's responsible for their own hydration.
That's part of my per diem, all right? Bottles of water.
I'm going to bring up the fucking Don today, too, the way you keep putting your fucking cabs on there. You're not on the road. There's no reason you should get a cab a day.
Try not to overheat in the city, you know? It's hot down there on the subway.
The reason why you're fucking dehydrated is that you haven't shit solid in 7 years. This guy could shit through a fucking screen door and not hit metal.
Sure,
it's wrong. What's happening with that ass of yours? Your asshole shouldn't be an Audi.
It's a little soupy at times.
Chris in Texas.
Hey, Ronnie B.
Yeah.
Hey, I just looked up Chris's symptoms on WebMD, and it looks like he's taking too much cock up his ass.
All right, that's not woke. That's not woke. And Chris laughing goes to show that he's homophobic and anti-gay.
We'll bring
and
that up to
anti-trans.
Don, too.
And anti-trans.
It's more of an HR issue.
Yeah.
Why do you hate trans people so much?
I love trans people.
Really?
Yes. I love gay people. I'm a good person.
Oh, no. God.
Just because you jerk off to them for their naked pictures.
Yeah, that's not woke.
That isn't woke.
That's fetishism, Chris. It's different.
Have you ever been making sweet, sweet love? Why was that funny?
He wasn't
Liza,
done.
just keep yourself together,
He
dude.
wasn't done.
Before you
Sweet,
fake
sweet part.
laugh,
I'm not fake
fucking
laughing.
figure out where the bit's going. So, have you ever made sweet, sweet love to your Costa Rican lady and come and shit at the same time?
No, that does never happen.
Because that's called a Stanley when that happens.
That's what it's called now.
It's called the Stanley Steamer.
Oh, God. Filthy fuck. Filthy fuck.
I can't believe you do that to her. And she's a nice girl.
Never.
He said to this, he's go, this Sunday is supposed to be nice. Why don't we go and shit at the zoo?
They have nice bathrooms there.
You never make it to a fucking bathroom. It's just where you throw your underwear out.
Well, not for all.
Why
of
you
it.
fucking throw your underwear, you fucking shitty underwear in the hippo cage? Where's your favorite place you ever shit yourself? A Yankees game? Boo doo doo. Tomorrow's 50 years since Martin Luther King died.
Yep.
At least the country's better now.
Yeah, we're all fixed. I don't think we have any racism, so that's good. Definitely took care of that.
I'll tell you this, I have racism, but not against blacks.
What race?
I don't like to say. People judge me for it. Quite frankly, I feel like I'm still right. This fucking minority is the worst. I'm just not going to say what they are. What did you decide on post-show food?
Would you guys like some fried chicken?
You just
We
fucking
just
did
had
it
that.
2 days ago.
Would you guys like parm?
This is how he ends up in constant fucking trouble. He eats the same food until his fucking bowels give up. Vito, would you go to Austin with me?
I would go to Austin with you.
It's fucking difficult. I need somebody to work 1 hour and take tickets and then spend a fucking lovely, fun time.
Drug free.
Yesterday I was looking at something. I forget what the fuck. Oh, I know what it was. It was things that there was a thing that was really making me laugh on BuzzFeed, and it was the way men fuck up during the time that the baby's being born. What's that called? Like
during the birth?
the birth, yeah.
During
Just-
labor?
Yeah, all the stupid things that they've said and
Yeah.
done. But then there was a thing of, we can tell, if you answer these questions, we can tell where you like to, what would be the perfect vacation place for you.
Oh, nice.
Mine was the Berkshires, where I use as getaway weekends.
That is your perfect vacation. That's weird.
Then
You
it
nailed
said, give us all your favorite foods, and we'll give you the city that you should be living in. I do it. Peter, what do you think I got?
Boston.
Chris?
New York City.
Paris, France.
Austin, Texas.
Whoa.
So my two things were the Berkshires and Austin, Texas.
Places you love to travel to.
Yeah, my home's away from homes. What's up, Holmes? Isn't that weird, though?
That is really...
Now, I know BuzzFeed is bullshit,
Yeah.
and yet both those things nailed it.
I've had ones where they nailed my exact age before, and I thought that was pretty weird.
But, I mean, most people don't go to the Berkshires.
Yeah.
In the summer, it's very quiet there because there's almost nobody there.
I'd love to take these quizzes. You know, I love a BuzzFeed quiz.
A BuzzFeed quiz.
It's
They used to make fun of people who took them.
fun.
Now, it's my new strategy. I don't make a move without them.
You could also find out what Riverdale character you are.
If I'm not Jughead, I quit.
I'm Veronica.
Chris is Reggie. No fucking doubt about that.
Perfect.
Born with a silver spoon up his nose. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. What's that Comedy March Madness picks a winner? What's that even mean?
Caroline's Comedy March Madness, where they have 64 comedians.
Oh, who won?
It was Napoleon Emmel won. Napoleon Emmel. He faced off against Eagle Witt, who was on Comedy 101
Oh, yeah.
in the finals.
Congratulations, Eagle. You finished first runner-up. Salute you.
That's what happens when
He was
you
too
graduate.
funny for fucking 101.
Yeah.
That was a problem. Now you watch, those two guys in 3 years are going to have specials.
I know.
That's what happens all the time.
I mean, wit's right in the name. How didn't we see it coming?
Eagle, too. You know, they're the champions. Fly, eagles fly, on a road to victory. We brought up Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
They're going to be bigger than Taco Bell, Burger King, and Wendy's within 2 years. They're going to be number 3. McDonald's is number 1, and the fucking coffee place is number 2, Starbucks.
See, that surprises me that Chick-fil-A, because here's the thing. I love a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, but I would feel like that's really all you want. That's all you're getting there.
Yeah, you're right.
Like at a McDonald's, at least someone can get a chicken, someone can get a burger. It's varied. But I do think that the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is superior to all other chicken sandwiches.
They just opened up a 5-story Chick-fil-A with a rooftop seating downtown in Fidei.
Everything's downtown with you these days.
And what?
I love it downtown in
What
Fidei.
Oh, boy.
That's what people call the financial district now.
No, I don't like that.
By the way, the only reason why they're there at Fidei is because it's where people work. You're not going to go to Chick-fil-A for fun. You're going to go there on a work fucking related thing. What did you come up with for after work food?
Did you guys like pizza?
You're guessing now instead of fucking defining. What would you like?
I say parm sandwiches.
Gail?
I'm fine with parm. That works for me.
What about this asshole bringing up pizza every 5 fucking seconds? Let's do the chicken parm.
Okay.
What's the side there?
Vito will find out.
Vito?
He's got the parm look up.
What do I fucking tell Don? Vito had to come in, swooping in like in Austin, tripping out of his balls, and fucking protect Chris.
Tripping his ball.
He gets fucked up. Vito, also look into what does ESPN streaming service that they keep writing to me about. I got to figure that out.
It's $5 a month. You don't get any NFL or NBA, and you get like 1 baseball game a day.
What do you get? Just baseball then?
No, like it's a bunch of different sports. Like there's like soccer, cricket, some special programming, but it's...
Do me a favor. Send them back a pair of Spanx with Spanx but no Spanx written on it. Written on the crotch. Vito, you like baseball. Go to the iBang. This one-armed catcher. One-armed catcher. He's my favorite ball player in the country right now. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey, Ethan. Ethan, what's up?
Ronnie B, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Hey, it sounds like Chris's ass is the hardest working producer you guys got there.
That's the only thing that's working on him right now.
Yeah.
It's working very well.
I don't know why we're worried about this, though. I thought we were kind of all in agreement that he's just riding it out.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's in his mind.
I'm just trying to live.
All right, Gail, you got to watch this kid. He's behind a plate. They look like they're teenagers at best, right? 14, 15?
Yeah.
Now watch him. Watch his glove. His glove head.
Holy shit.
He drops the glove.
Flips it out and flips the ball right into his hand.
Yeah.
Into the same hand.
Now watch him again. It's so smooth.
Wow.
Guns it back on one knee. I'm not happy about that. I'd rather see him run from the crouch. But you see that he's looking over at the first. I don't know. He's looking over to his right every time, right?
Yeah.
Somebody must be calling the pitches other than him, because he can't call the pitch with a gloved hand.
Oh, good
See how
point.
he's looking to his right? But I don't know to who.
I didn't even think of that, because you're giving the signal to the pitcher.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he's looking at the first base coach.
Well, the first base coach is on the other team.
Oh, that's stupid
You
of me.
fucking idiot.
Fucking idiot.
First base coach is just going to say groove one down the middle every fucking time. Groove one down. Look, he looks like, look at his throwing his style, though. He's got a fucking nice look for a catcher.
I was going to say that almost looks like a pitcher style, like that.
But you got to snap it back. I mean, I'm sorry. Pitcher doesn't fucking throw it from home plate to second base. Everyone talks about the fucking pitcher's arm. Really? Let's see you fucking snap back and catch some guy sleeping on first. Especially doing it one arm style the way I did. Just because my other hand, I had a cigar in it. Chris get behind the plate, crouch down, shit himself, call the game.
It'll be ugly.
As well normally go in, lay down in the fucking dugout, saying he couldn't work today. Here's your personal physician, Pit Doc.
Oh, good.
Hey, Pit Doc.
Sorry, let me put down my lobster roll.
Yeah, that sounds
First thing I want to do is kind of semi-apologize for the last time I saw you, because I did make the comment that you looked, hideously overweight.
That was the words you used, yes, as a doctor.
Well, that was just kind of a hope, kind of a tough love thing. I hope you get you some loose weight and or see a doctor. But your basically shit problem, is it bloody or black?
Both. Sometimes bloody, sometimes black.
Blood?
All right. So black means you might have an ulcer in your stomach, and then that's hemolyzed blood going through.
Right.
If it's pure bloody, that might be something different or even worse, because that could be ulcerative colitis as opposed to just colitis. Of course, you just might be eating shit, but
that too.
If it's black, but if you have black stools or bloody stools, that's when you should see a doctor.
Yeah,
okay?
black is like internal bleeding, isn't it?
No, black is blood that bleeds from the stomach, and when it's hemolyzed by the acids and the enzymes in the intestines, it turns black, and it comes out black and sometimes like tarry stool. But it's not internal bleeding. Internal bleeding is inside the intestines, inside the abdomen, not the intestines. So if he's having black stools, he might have an ulcer, and he needs to start taking medication and get maybe an endoscopy for that. If it's dark red blood and it's coming out like diarrhea and it smells like dead meat, that means you're having a bad ulcer, and you've got to get seen by a doctor immediately.
Okay, I'll look out for the dead meat smell.
But you're not having any burning like people when they get ulcers? You're not having any of that?
No.
Do you have any nausea?
Nausea over the weekend.
He just gargles up whatever the fuck that is.
That might be the alcohol too, but the things that are bad for the stomach is 1, alcohol, and 2, cigarettes. But of course, that's not going to stop anytime soon. So
that's odd because he does have 1 alcohol and then 2 cigarettes every time I see him. Keep that pace going.
If he had something called ulcerative colitis, which is scarring of the large intestine with bloody stools, actually cigarettes is the only thing that's good for it, really, amazingly enough. That's the only thing that cigarettes have ever been proven to be good for.
So it's like medicine.
Regardless, you need to see a doctor and get something to look at your stomach, okay?
Okay. I'll make an appointment.
Bye.
Thanks, Pit Doc.
He's been seeing a doctor at least once every 2 weeks for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't catch this.
Black is black. He wants his asshole back. I don't know, Chris. You're a fucking just literally a train wreck.
Concerned about this black poop.
I think it's fine. Pit Doc seemed positive about it.
I don't think he did. I think he said to get help immediately.
Okay.
Hey, Ray. What's up, buddy?
Not a lot. How you doing, Ron?
Cool, man.
Hey, Chris. I'm at a poor Costa Rican acrobat finally wrangles you and gets your leash on when he takes you outside the shit. It's dry like in the sun when it's dry, white, ashy color.
In the summer, he just has white poop that he leaves on the lawn. And I think that's because he's been eating the fertilizer. Can we agree you're not coming to Austin?
No, I'm not going to agree with that.
It sounds like
I'm
you
coming
shouldn't.
to Austin.
You remember last year, though?
Yes. Everything went well. That's what I
really?
remember.
Not with you.
No, with me. Everything ran well. I drank some water in the back of a club for 20 minutes, and apparently that's fucking a giant
What's the
problem.
location matter?
Because everyone was fucking staring at the stage, not at me, except for Don. Don just was, I guess, staring at me, worried about me.
We're all worried about you.
There's nothing to worry about.
He made us all worry when he pointed it out.
All right. Vito, you eat in this neighborhood, you're never sick. Gail, you eat in this neighborhood, you're never sick. Why is this guy always food poisoning? Maybe what I need you to do, shadow fucking Vito, so you can see what plants are edible and what plants you should stay away from.
Plants are edible?
Vito, what do you use as your gauge at a diner? What, you know, like to me, there's always foods at a diner.
Yeah.
That you gauge whether you can order things at the diner. What does it feel?
I think if the place has a shitty cheeseburger, nothing's going to be good because a cheeseburger is pretty simple at a diner.
Standard.
Yeah, it's just a standard thing everybody has. If you don't do a good job with that, you're not going to do a good job.
Do you
with
like if they call it a special if it comes with fries? Because I find that annoying.
The deluxe.
That's not fucking special.
And here's the thing I hate about that. Do you want the deluxe or do you want a side of fries? I guess a side of fries, then you get a boatload. And I'm like, oh, I just meant on the side. Because if you're not speaking their deluxe language, they don't know, just like that small little pile.
A deluxe seems to me somebody that puts a bunch of extra stuff on the cheeseburger.
It seems like there would be multiple patties and
also, here's the thing.
special sauce.
When I look at a diner and they go, you want, lettuce on your burger, and it's never the good part of the lettuce.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you fucking doing? What garbage fucking dump are you pulling your lettuce out of? What's your standardized thing, Gail?
Well, I will often do a BLT at a diner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
to me,
say?
a BLT, if it's not, like literally you're talking about toast, you're talking about just proper ingredients, lettuce and tomato if those aren't good. And then if you don't know how to cook bacon, there's no breakfast item you know how to cook.
Right.
If you fucked up bacon, you're fucking everything
My
up.
problem with a lot of places is I feel like they don't understand the tomato. The tomato that they get is not a nice...
You need a red tomato. If I see a pink, light...
Hard.
Exactly.
It's almost picklish where they're going. Oh, that is another thing. I expect a good pickle at any diner.
Must have a good pickle.
Chris, is there even any reason to ask you what you're doing?
Cheese omelet. I'll judge it by that.
Just cheese?
Yeah, just cheese. Because
I mean, is that even technically an omelet?
I say it's like a basic omelet, like a cheese omelet.
A fried egg.
With cheese
cheese
in it.
omelet.
Why are you mad at him? This
He's
is the
mad
guy
at
that's
me
taking
'cause
your
I was
place
the
with
one who brought
everything.
it up
Oh,
first.
so that he gets
That's
to
what always
strike
happens.
back. You don't want to say it to Gail because she's a lady.
You can strike back
She's
at
a
me.
lady.
Take that shit.
Because a lot of times
he thinks like this. Excuse me, my lady, but you're not up for manly things like an argument.
they they could overcook the eggs, which just sucks.
Okay, cheese omelet.
I think that's like if they're able to do like an over easy egg is even a better test.
Oh, I would
of
agree
their
with that
skill
100%.
set.
I
'Cause
can't
think
believe a place that can.
any idiot could scramble or even but like if you could make a good over easy egg,
No, I agree
you
with
have
you.
skills.
I know a pickle is just a cucumber, but if it tastes like a cucumber, I get really fucking mad.
You have every right to.
Yeah.
You're having a pickle. A pickle mean it's been pickled. All right? And you're in a fucking place where people have been pickling for fucking ever. So to not be able to pull that off is impossible.
I know that there are some places that kind of pride themselves on doing there's like a difference between like full sour, half sour, and then what they call like either a new pickle or a young pickle. And those are very cucumbery and usually very green. And I dislike them.
I'm going to give you something else. Now, if they say, oh, would you like a biscuit, right?
Yeah.
Unless that fucking biscuit is fucking fantastic, then you should just be selling fucking toast.
Right.
Because a biscuit should be like, I can't fucking believe how good this biscuit is. You can't just have a shitty fucking biscuit. Your place is shit then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to agree that ingredient is more important than the cooking technique.
Yeah.
Because like you said, anybody can make a fucking omelet. But to make decent fucking food and that, because you're basically short order cook, but a short order cook should be fucking great.
Well, I think bread in general is pretty important. Obviously not for a diner scenario. I would say if you're going out for dinner and before you get your meal, they drop bread off and that bread is just like, did you get this out of a package? You're screwed.
Oh, I'll give you another fucking thing. Bring me the little fucking singular butter things, and I know that you don't give a fuck about anything.
You haven't pre-buttered the toast?
Yeah, you just came up with those little fucking squares.
Yeah.
Yeah. And fuck you, dude. You don't care about this fucking meal.
They're usually cold, too.
They're freezing cold.
Of course they are. They're out of the fucking freezer.
Yeah.
And then your bread's getting all fucked up and ripped.
Your bread's already fucked up from being in that shithole. I'm not. And if Chris would pay attention to these things, and should you say the name of the place that you got your food poisoning, or are you afraid of a lawsuit?
I'm not.
Because they'll be able to prove no one else got sick.
I'm not naming names.
But if you were poisoned somewhere, and let's face it, that's what food poisoning is.
Yeah.
You would have an obligation to our society.
I
to go
agree.
back.
If I were to, let's say, go out to eat and I believed myself to get food poisoning from said place, I would call them because I would make sure, not because I wanted some sort of discount or
I would
some,
get the discount.
I would, or like some refund. I would be like, hey, don't hurt other people. You need to throw out that vat of mayonnaise you're serving.
I'm sure they've gone through it already by now. I'm just
They
going to
make
boycott
them-
their business.
But what that place would be a place that would make that kind of mistake time and time again. I think Cyndi Lauper put it back when she said, "Time after time, assholes are sprinkling."
Beautiful song.
And that's why you're afraid to say the name of it. I know the name of the place that you go to.
Oh,
and I'll
we
say it
all
right
know.
now.
We're not
Because
afraid.
I know you like it the mosties. So it's very easy for me to say it, Chris. But you can't say it because you would be proven wrong. Because what you have, and Pit Doc has backed me up on this, is colitis. Was that the bit from 4 minutes ago?
I'll lower that.
Why? Come on, I want you to see it. Show us all how it works. Show us how it's going to make us better.
So if we went back into it. It didn't make sense to play it now.
No, it does make. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Make it work for us.
It does not make sense.
No
to play
improv.
this. I wasn't singing the song. I should have played it before.
I'm fighting with everybody today, huh? That's no different. I wish I could get myself off of watching the news. I realize
I know.
what a fucking problem I have with it. Leave it on all the time.
It's addictive.
Shouldn't be.
Doesn't make you feel
They're
good.
not even bringing in anything that's fun or exciting. And it's the same people every day. Same people defending, same people complaining. You know what I say?
What?
And I mean it. Beam me up, Scotty. I haven't found any intelligent life here. I wish they made T-shirts like that. Where's Jen going?
To you. She's coming into you guys to give you some papers.
Jen. What is Jen? What is today? Are we doing dish?
No.
Dish.
Dish it.
Dish it. What do you want? Jen, what is it you wanted to talk about? HelloFresh?
Yeah.
Why? Come sit down. I'll tell you all about HelloFresh, Jen. Well, this is the thing, because I see you doing a lot of takeout, right? No. But, Jen, by the time you order takeout, you're already ravenous. You find out what you want. But after tax, delivery fee, and tip, the cost of your meal doubles. And you still have to wait another 45 minutes for your food to arrive. So you just end up snacking.
Now, Jen, with HelloFresh, you can prepare and eat a home-cooked meal for less than $10 a plate, long before any overpriced takeout would arrive. Just go to HelloFresh.com, pick out the recipes you want. They're going to be delivered directly to your doorstep every week in a special insulated box, along with easy-to-follow step-by-step instructions and full-color pictures.
Is this starting to make some sense to you now, Jen? Yes. Jen, each HelloFresh box includes fresh seasonal ingredients that are perfectly portioned so there's no waste. Just delicious meals that you can make in 30 minutes or less. And for a limited time, you can get $30 off your first box when you go to HelloFresh.com/raw plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/raw for $30 off.
Jen, write this down. HelloFresh.com/raw.
I feel like we should have things to announce today. We have been announcing a lot of things.
Like we have so many secrets too. Like we haven't announced. We have so many secrets.
Mm-hmm. One is from Basket. Vito, you were going to be the big picture guy, right?
Yes.
These are big picture events coming up.
You got great events. I need to put a
What
schedule.
about the on demand? Do we know what Unmasked and what Gail Meets Girls are on demand?
I believe they keep the last 5 up of everything.
Why? Why believe it? Why not know it?
I'm gonna have a talk with Kyle from On Demand. And
why don't you just go and look at On Demand and see what's up there? And that way you're doing what? You're doing
producing,
right?
He got that right.
And what do I like? Fresh produce, right? That's my thing.
You're obsessed with producers, producing, production.
I'm doing a new restaurant for handy, capable people, okay? And it's called Farm to Disabled. And it's only disabled people that will be eating there, and they will getting fresh farm produce. All the best stuff. It's going to taste dirty, okay?
Now, my only and I love the concept, and it seems very, very now. But my concern is, do they not get a table then? Because you've taken the table out of that equation of farm to table.
Well, I don't think that's going to matter much because we're going to have over 85 screens all showing porn. And the porn that we're going to be showing is a lot of Swedish and Norwegian stuff.
Okay.
Not fucking boring American porn.
Crowd pleaser stuff.
But real dual house. I mean, there's going to be a lot of fucking really strange S&M stuff going on along with death metal.
So that's going to be where, the focus is going to be anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the food, of course.
Yeah. And it's going to be a complete metal trays and a metal floor. Because we're going to have to hose that fucking place down when we're done. Because let's say this, a lot of liquid's going to hit the floor one way or another. It's called Do House, coming soon. And it's only going to be available in malls. I don't want a freestanding building.
Like in a food court?
Well, yeah, I guess would be food court stuff. I don't know. I haven't been in a mall in many, many years. Last time I was in a mall was Fast Time for Ridgemont High.
That was you?
We all worked in malls then. It was mall culture. All right, look at this show called Revolution about Facebook. It doesn't look like the rest of MSNBC. I saw the ad for it this morning, and I'm like, is this a weird... Look, they're not even using regular filters, and the woman on the right I'd never seen before. Revolution.
I think it's the lighting. I think it's lit really strange.
But is it lit like Apple? Because we're pushing Apple with this thing. Tim Cook's going to be in. He's pissed at Facebook.
Not pleased with the leaks?
I don't know what it is. A lot of people are complaining about leaks these days. A lot of people are complaining. I don't know. For me, I'm looking backwards right now, 50 years, Martin Luther King, in what I call the terrible 1968. Shooting after people today act like this is the worst time in American history. We had 3 major political people murdered that year. A war that was fucking raging, all right? And some disappointing follow-up by the Doors to their initial smash.
That's the real heartbreaker.
I always laugh at any reviewer who's tough on a sophomore album. Like, what are these guys doing? They were so great 4 months ago. Now they suck.
I love a good sophomore album.
It's a tough thing to do.
I've already established that I like you.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're giving me more greatness.
Yeah, but I like to say, you take 10 years to make the first album and 6 months to make the second. And then we all have a good laugh. And then I go, get out of my office. All right? Go write me a hit. That's what I'll say to my songwriters all the time. Now get out of here and go write me a hit.
You're a tough boss.
Tough but fair. You know what I mean? Tough but, a fair-haired boy, What do I expect? Solid gold. Or platinum. Better. I'll say a lot of my songwriters. The next time I see you, it better be at the top of the charts. Anyway, that's what we're dealing with in 1968. Chris, we got a guest coming in a few moments. That's why you're being kind of hesitant?
Yes, we do. Journey.
But before you get into that, does that always get you a little nervous?
Oh, well, I just want to get their plugs in front of you.
Because I always notice that everything is like, you see how silly he was.
I know.
And now since he's sitting up straight, he's I pick up a nervous energy. I couldn't buy a laugh at him, as you just noticed. And he was laughing where I had to say earlier, I go, this isn't even the joke, dude. Now you know the laugh. So you're worried. We got Journey coming in?
The Journey Gunderson. She's the executive director of the National Comedy Center. She's about to come in the studio.
Well, that's a very big thing. So what are you counting me down for?
What?
That's not with you. I'm just making sure I have something. I'm counting orders in my head to make sure it's all right.
Oh my God, you're counting right in front of the window. He's obviously going to think that that's for him. You're just a little kid and you're finger counting for yourself?
No, because there's been mistakes with orders in the past, so I just want
Only for you.
No.
Everybody else's has come in. The last couple of times we ordered food, everybody's food there came in except for Vito's. And you've been blaming it on a certain intern.
Yeah, I've put the blame on one person.
Who?
Carly.
Carly is the one who did it to you?
Yeah, Carly's the one who did it to me.
But why just you? Is it personal?
I don't know. It didn't feel personal the first time, but then the second time it felt pretty personal. Because I was given the exact opposite of what I wanted.
No food. You wanted food and you got a bag of no food. Well, look, if the worst comes to worst, I got some fruit stripes for you here today.
Oh, that's awesome.
A couple of flying saucers.
I ate all mine already.
Oh, boy.
Candy.
Well, Vito, we can't be all about you. We're trying to put together this thing for this guest, and it's got Chris very, very tight. And who do we got coming in?
Journey Gunderson.
No. Open arms, I think. Because I know a lot of people go for Don't Stop Believing, but...
Yeah.
What's your favorite, Chris?
Don't Stop Believing. Lights is great, too.
You know what mine is? I will run.
Under the big tower, wheel right around. I say that there ain't no place to phone family. We're Journey Gunderson. Journey is the executive director of the National Comedy Center. Did you even know that we had one? It's in Jamestown. And they have a big, cool festival every year, August 1st through the 5th this year. And they're opening up the National Comedy Center, and that's what she's going to tell us about.
Very cool.
I got the perfect person to come up for her. I'm sure she's already booked this year, though.
Oh.
Oh, I figure I say it in front of her.
Okay,
you know
good
what I mean?
idea.
Don't bury the lead is what I like to say. Then I also say if it leads, it bleeds. You know what I mean? And then if I also say this, leads, who's our next guest? How are we doing with leads right now, Vito? You take it over the leads thing, and I feel like it's an uptick.
We're doing good. Me and Leeds are cool.
Yeah.
We talk in the hallways. Sometimes I go up to the office, hang out with him and Liam.
So you're giving it the personal touch, huh?
No leads.
Leads, where we're going, we won't need leads. It's a mad leads. I'm going to make him a leads that he can't refuse. This could be great to put out. Just fucking look at me, Vito. Movie quotes that only have to do with leads.
Okay.
Put it together.
These are the leads. The Journey Gunderson leads. To you, they're gold. But you don't get them.
They call me Mr. Leeds.
They call me Mr. Leeds. I always thought I did a better Sidney Poitier impression than I get credit for. Yesterday, the boys were in, and they showed us a friend of theirs that did a Bill Maher impression that was fucking out of this
It
world.
was so good. It
I wanna
was so,
find
so
this kid.
accurate.
Sam and Joe. Sam is the one who had it on his phone. Get to the bottom of that kid. He says he's a friend of his.
Okay.
All right, Chris, I know you've been nervous and you're looking at your thing now and you want to do your plugs.
You're
so bad.
memorizing it.
What song you bringing it into?
Open Arms.
Mm-mm.
No?
No. Let's go lights. Actually, I mean, I like the live version when it goes into loving, touching, squeezing. I don't know if she's got that kind of time now.
That's my favorite.
Is that your favorite?
Loving, Touching, Squeezing is my favorite Journey song.
But isn't it better when it's on the back of lights?
Yeah.
When I'm alone. All right, let's go to loving, touching, squeezing for him.
Okay.
But the live version of it.
All right, give me one second.
I hope this isn't throwing you because I know that you
I think
wanted
it's
this
off
to go perfectly.
Journey Gunderson Captured.
Oh, live in Midnight. I'm not
Not
finding
live in Midnight Special. Captured is the, I believe, the name of the album. Came right before Escaped. Come on, let's bring her in.
Okay. All right, this is Journey Gunderson. She's the executive director of the National Comedy Center.
Easy, dude. You're not in a fucking race here.
The National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York is opening this August 1st through the 5th, which is coinciding with the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival. ComedyCenter.org for information. Journey Gunderson's in the studio. Journey's the executive director of the National Comedy Center. And the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York is opening this August 1st through 5th, which is coinciding with the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival. For all information, go to ComedyCenter.org.
Nice to see you, Journey. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are
And you were impressed that Chris played Journey as you came walking
I
in.
was impressed.
Yeah.
Thank you for
But
the
now
warm-
you're very, very low with it. There it is. There it is. That's producing. Were you a Journey fan as a kid because of the...
I was when, a lot of people would yell, "Don't stop believing," and she's just a small town girl to me in bars and things like that. So it happened naturally.
Not going to get out of it. Not going to get away with it at all. Well, great to see you, and congratulations for everything that's happening with the Comedy Center and, of course, the festival every year. But the center is going to be a permanent thing?
Yes.
How does that work? How did we get something like that? Because we talked about that for years. They had the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. How did you end up pulling this all together?
Well, it did originate with Lucille Ball herself. Obviously, Jamestown's her hometown, and when Jamestown approached her in the late 80s about the celebration of her legacy, she was like, more than people just looking at my stuff in glass cases or celebrating I Love Lucy, why don't you build something that celebrates the comedic arts in all of its all forms? And it took us a few decades to get it together, but now we've raised the money and hired the best design firms in the industry, and we're heading toward opening August 1st.
But it did start with Lucy, the idea of Lucy. I was with Tracy Morgan yesterday, and his love for most people would not even realize it, but he wants to be nothing more but to be compared and the thing. He thinks that's the peak of comedy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's comedy that does hold up, which is pretty rare.
It is hard. Yeah. It's very hard.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of young people watch I Love Lucy reruns, and even if they're too young to get the dialogue, she was so good with her face.
Yeah.
Just such great delivery, such great timing that it's, I think Tracy's right.
Yeah, I do too.
And also, such a good mix of, her expressions, her physical comedy, which is, on a woman, was just, is so fantastic the way she does it.
Also, she was stunningly beautiful, but played that down. But you would see her, in different pictures of stuff, and when she wasn't being, Lucy, which, by the way, is really even a hard thing to pull off. I don't even know what she did to create that comedic character that was probably getting a 50 or a 60 share on TV at the time. But now, were you involved with when they made the bad sculpture of her?
I wasn't involved when it was created. I think it was made in 07 or 08.
Yeah.
It didn't get a lot of attention. And then for whatever reason, what was it? 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
3 years ago. Yeah. I was actually on maternity leave in my robe in my kitchen. And, my dad texted me have you seen Yahoo's homepage? I'm like, no, what's going on? And then was horrified to see this thing blow up.
But it turned out to be kind of great, right? Because you get the positive and then people still want to see the bad one, right?
Yeah, yeah. The village of Celeron is the outskirts of Jamestown because Lucille Ball was born in Jamestown and then raised in her teen years in Celeron. And So it wasn't really up to me, but I did sit on the committee to find the artist to fix it or to make a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And then so many people visited after the media frenzy that they decided to keep both.
You gotta have it.
So now there are both.
Yeah, one of these just happened in Spain with Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player, and it's literally the same story. Like everyone's outraged, but then they're like, "No, but don't get rid of the one that we don't like."
I know.
Yeah.
You kind of can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became an example of how comedy's made. When SNL is spoofing it, we're like, maybe this is a good thing.
Maybe this works. Maybe this works. All right, who else is going to be part of it? When you think of the original people of comedy, who all are you looking at?
Well, we do go back to really its origins. You know, we go back to the Marx Brothers, everybody.
Yes.
And it's hard because it's a pretty broad subject matter to tackle in any visitor experience. You know, people have a certain bandwidth and attention span, but we do our best to kind of touch all eras and go right through the present day. I just came from the cellar where we were filming Gilbert Gottfried's interview for the exhibits.
Right.
He brought up the statue also.
Yeah, of course he did. Now, Gilbert to me is like, he's almost a comedy machine when it comes to that. Like, he knows names from the old days that I like the old Mountain comics too. A lot of the younger people don't, but I find most of those guys to be fantastic.
So that was like the classic, like the summer kind of vacationer people who were doing comedy upstate and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like literally those things, and they were giant rooms. They were gigantic rooms. And some of those people went on to mainstream, but some of them didn't, but they were very big stars, in that era. I know you're doing stuff with Carlin as well, right? Last year you had some Carlin stuff, and did Kelly give that stuff to you guys?
Yes, she did. She donated what is known to be, for anybody who's aware of it, it's an enormous archive. It's 25,000 pieces. And it was like 7 trunks that made their way to Jamestown. And so we've been able to make it just a spectacular exhibit of the physical materials, his little scraps of paper, his joke notes, and then even a virtual trunk you can sort of dig through as if you're just going through all of his archives.
Now, this is the thing about George, and a couple of people I know is Gary Shandling in the last documentary was the same way. I knew Joan Rivers, and she, little scraps of paper that would go back into notebooks, never moved it to computers. But I love to see physical paper. I love to see what they wrote, because that is just off the top of their head. It may not even be the joke that it later became. And a guy like Carlin was obsessed about his material.
Yeah. My favorite thing is the file box, because there's just these folders labeled like death, religion, stupid people, words.
Right.
And then, he would collect these little musings on scraps of paper and put them in Ziploc baggies in the folders and move stuff from baggie to baggie until he built a whole bit.
It's unbelievable, right? That's a strange system.
And it's such a look into the way his brain worked. Because,
Pure, right? Because there's the original spark of an idea. Yeah. And just think, you can't think of that with another art form. You know what I mean? You can't see, like, the music, but I changed, But with comedy, you can see the very beginning of that. Mm-hmm. Like the burning ember. I just find that to be fascinating. And that's the goal, right? That is the goal, to bring people that moment, right?
Yes. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. This is not just about, that's one reason it's not a Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That was tossed around, and the concept really evolved from there to be more something where we're pulling back the curtain on the art form. Yeah. The average, from we produced the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival, and so I've done that for 7 or 8 years, and you realize that the average Joe person who attends a comedy show often thinks, oh, these people are just funny, and they walk up on stage, and it's easy, and they have no idea the precision and the science to it, really, and the level of honing that goes on. They just have no idea. And so that's part of the idea, is to engender in visitors an appreciation for this art form.
But what I love about when you look at that is that very few people work the same way. Some people work very specific. Some people work very general. Some people write off stage. Other people sit down and write every day. So if someone came to you and said, how do I become a comedian? Most of the time you're just like, go find it. You know what I mean? Go chasing it. And if you watch, let's say, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, fascinating to see how different they were in their early days to when they actually became, themselves.
Yeah, I think that's another thing about comedy that's more unique to comedy than other art forms is that process of finding one's voice.
Yeah.
And how, for the most part, you just see people get so much better when you realize that they found their own authentic voice. And I don't know if that's the same in other art forms. I'm sure it is to some level, but if you're performing someone else's stuff as an actor or as a dancer when there's a choreographer, it's a little different.
Yeah, I think even if you think about music, we were just talking about how, oftentimes people like the first, version, the first album, the first, whatever the way that band defined themselves. And then when they grow, they're like, I don't know, because they had something that was pure then. But comedy is like you have to work to get to pureness as opposed to the other way.
The other thing
around.
is there's no other art form that we expect you to be different all the time. Like nobody wants to hear George Carlin's first album 2 years later. He has to throw it out. Now, if you look at bands, most of them, let's say their first 4 albums are probably 90% of the music that they play the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But you look at Dave Chappelle now, he can't go back to a single joke. Not a single one. Chris Rock can't go backwards. It's amazing when you think
Especially
about that.
now, because of the internet and how things are recorded.
The internet's brutal for that, right? The internet, they expect you to be different than you were a week ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people, there is something so odd about that. Now, the original vaudeville guys, they got their 15 or 20 minutes, did it for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Never occurred to people. And some of them would be doing the same routines at different parts of the country. And nobody got mad about it. They're like, oh, he's doing the old Susquehanna hat bit. Huh? Good luck with that.
It's like a juggler, too. You wouldn't expect that. You would be like, oh, that's what he does. That's his, he's put an act together.
Yeah. We don't even want an act. We want less and less of an act all the time now.
Journey Gunnarson's in studio. Journey's the executive director of the National Comedy Center. The National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York is opening this August 1st through the 5th, which coincides with the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival. ComedyCenter.org for information.
Now, when we get there, what exactly should we go looking for? Because I'm going to try to make it up this year.
Oh, good.
When it opens up. So what's the first things that you think I would want to see?
Well, in the museum?
Yeah.
Well, when you arrive in the lobby, the first thing that you'll do after you pay admission, of course, is to fill out or complete the exercise that is the sense of humor profile.
Mm-hmm.
So we put you through a couple of interfaces where you kind of tap what you find funny. And this allows us to create a profile of your sense of humor. And then there are maybe 39 of the 70 exhibits that sort of respond to that throughout the rest of your stay. And the way it's been designed is great because there's kind of an intended chronology to the exhibits, but if you go out of order, it doesn't matter. So that, during high season, it works. During low season, it works. One of my favorite exhibits is the Comedy Continuum. It's a huge room where one whole wall is kind of a touchscreen interface, and as many people as are in the space can interact with it at once. But it's designed to make connections between artists, both professional connections if they worked together and collaborated in a way that we wouldn't, suppose, or to show influence. Oh, I didn't know that Jerry Seinfeld cited George Carlin as an influence and that Carlin cited Shelley Berman.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's sort of like a spider web, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon on steroids in comedy. And it's neat because it's also designed to make connections between visitors. So most people go to museums with somebody of another age cohort or generation.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a grandfather and a grandson and, the kid thinks that Stephen Colbert invented political comedy and his grandfather likes Mort Saul, suddenly there might be like a zap between them to draw this connection, the lineage.
Which probably wouldn't even occur to the grandfather. You know what I mean? Like the grandfather wouldn't say the grandson would say what you're saying. Saul used to come on with a newspaper, but now they have, clips, video clips.
Right.
But I don't know how many people that you could ever say kind of started on, like, I don't know who Bob Newhart was listening to before. That seemed like a gigantic leap ahead from telling jokes.
Yeah.
But there's not too many people like that. Like maybe Newhart was looking at sketch comedy and was just doing it by himself. But when you really look like before Newhart, people are doing like, oh, take, my wife and all, you know what I mean? Like, it was really old school stuff. And he was so conversational. I don't know where that came from. But most people you could go, yeah, I could see that Seinfeld was watching, David Steinberg or anybody else along those lines. So that's really cool about it. And then, by the way, this is a beautiful town that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a great place to go and hang out. And then this comedy festival draws some incredible people for being in a small town. Who's coming in this year?
We actually have not released the names yet. We do have them confirmed, but we're going to be releasing the names next week.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it.
But you had some big names last year.
Yep, we had Gaffigan.
Yeah.
Year before,
You
Brian
had Kevin
Regan,
James was
Kevin
there.
James.
So Louis Black
Yeah.
was up. So, and this beautiful hotel and all the grounds. I mean, there's a lot more to do. 'Cause I love the idea of a comedy festival anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because comedians could get to see each other. And then you also had a bunch of younger people there last year as well.
Yeah, I was actually, I think you had Mark Normand on your show recently. He's been a few times.
Yeah.
Sam Morrell,
He was
Joe
here
Mackey.
yesterday.
Yeah, all
Mackey
those
was here
guys have
yesterday.
been there for a few years in a row. Dulce Sloan. We usually book like 15 to 20 comics to do late night showcases. And this year we're going to be mixing it up because we've got some advisory board members coming to town like Louis Black and W. Kamau Bell. And so it's really fun to program around this grand opening. And yes,
these
it's
are
on a
people
lake,
that
like
you keep
mentioned.
all the time as part of the board, huh?
Yeah.
And you're counting on their ideas, their what? What are they? Is there a criteria that we're looking for?
Well, I was talking with Jeff Ross about this recently, and he's like, well, what's the purpose of the advisory board? And I said, it's to make sure this doesn't suck. Like, this has to be, I mean, bottom line, this has to be, the authenticity of approach is paramount to everything. And so we need this to feel, even though we've hired cultural design firms, museum design firms, interactivity specialists, like it's coming from the artists. And so that's really kind of our safeguard. In fact, talking with Alan Zweibel and Lewis about the concept of the Hall of Fame versus what we're doing, which is much broader.
Right.
I think it was Alan who said, like, this is the higher road.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I agree 100% because the Hall of Fame, it's fun to argue, but it's also a waste of time. Right. So, but with what you're doing and about the creativity above the popularity at any given time.
Right.
Because it's always amazing when something seems very popular and then a few years later seems awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some
it can
things
happen that
don't age that well,
Yes.
and other things, sometimes something has a big impact, even though they're more underground.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes a Hall of Fame doesn't always reflect that because it's more about the biggest names with the clearest influence.
I always think it's amazing if you look back at some things that were gigantic, but then they don't like Red Skelton. People don't realize how gigantic Red Skelton was. And yet you couldn't bring it, like you could bring up so many comedians from the 30s or 40s and people go, oh yeah, W.C. Fields or the Marx Brothers. But you wouldn't be able to say to a kid, Red Skelton, they would probably say, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, massive, as big as you can get, massive.
We're actually, it's funny you brought that name. We're going to be displaying his Clem Kadiddlehopper costume, if I said that right.
That was the kind of a bum that he played, or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is, it's one of those things where it doesn't take long for the next generation to not know, who these artists were. And so it's, I mentioned an artifact, but really it's going to be a mix of a lot of media and immersion. But some people really do just want to stand in the presence of the DNA. And so we do have some physical articles too.
That is odd too, isn't it? I'm that same way where I'll go, oh, that's the jacket that somebody wore. Like I think of like the suit that Pryor wore in his specials.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. That seems fantastic to me. I don't know why. I could not tell you. But it would seem like, oh my God, There's the
Yeah.
you know, there's that
Well,
red
it makes
suit.
it so present, and
Yeah.
it makes that person feel so real and tangible, and not just like the concept of that person. I
But
think.
to me, it's always odd. Like a lot of kids now, they'll bring up Eddie Murphy as if it was a million years ago. You know what I mean? And they're like, Eddie Murphy used to do comedy, you know, because he hasn't really done stand up in a long time.
Yeah.
But arenas when nobody was doing arenas, and the place would go bananas when he just stepped away from it, stopped caring.
When we had Joan Rivers in 2011, there were people who said like, "Oh, what's she going to do?" Because they just knew her from
my
like
gosh.
red carpet
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
E doing
That's
Fashion Police.
crazy to me.
Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, she did what, 50, 60 years of stand up?
At least a couple hundred shows a year too. Whether she was at the top, but nobody more fascinating to me than Joan, and nobody. I can't think of another artist that was better 2 weeks before she died than at any other time, and was always a star, but was still, when she died, the edgiest comic in the world. And, you know, CK would say that, or Jim Norton would say that about her. People that work edgy always loved her. Always loved her. She lost some of the mainstream love because of political reasons, and also the fact that she would start fights and never apologize. I mean, I find her just to be incredibly fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. And she had such a respect for the audience. At least that's what I witnessed. Just like how hard she was working. She never was doing it half-assed.
Yeah.
You know, she had these like notes that lined the lip of the stage and just gave so much energy. She never stopped moving for 70 straight minutes.
Yeah.
And she was like 79, I think, when we had her.
Yeah. And here's the weird thing. I mean, when she died, she had $150 million. Like, I thought that she might have been broke, to tell you the truth, the way that she worked and the way that she promoted. And, you know, the way she was like, oh, I got to go to QVC when, you know, and I'm like, I wonder what's going on with her. And she had $150 million and was still riding in the back of cabs as fast as she could. Great artist. Literally a great artist. Well, this is exciting. I'll make sure that we announce when you guys announce too. But thanks so much for stopping by. And I think this is brilliant. I wish you all the best with this. I really do.
Thank you so much for having me. And you are officially invited to come to Jamestown for the grand opening. We hope to have you there. It's on beautiful Lake Chautauqua, like you said. So you'll have to come out to Western New York.
Well, love it. Chris, one more plug, please.
Journey Gutterson's been in studio. Journey's the executive director of the National Comedy Center. The National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York is opening this August 1st through the 5th, which is coinciding with the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival. For all information, go to comedycenter.org.
All right, we'll be right back, Bennington. Florida Sweets, that's the book I got. I'm breathing some throat a little bit.
Did you get to the key lime pie?
I spent a little time on key lime pie, a little time on flan.
I love a flan.
You hate when people call it flan?
I hate it.
Yeah, flan here.
My dad would call it flan. That was his favorite.
I broke up with someone who used the word flan. I just fucking said, look, I'm not paying for this meal, and I no longer want to see you again. Have you ever had a friend that you thought was someone who was so horrible that you told them to break up?
Yep.
You have?
Yeah. And they got back together. It was this. All right.
Were you out?
For a little while, but then they actually did break up again. Like they
so
got
if they would have
divorced.
stayed together, what was wrong with this? Because I know someone who was someone so horrific, and I've never done it before. Well, I tried one time, and it ruined everything.
Yeah.
Still not close today, even though that they are a family member, which makes it even worse. I kind of feel like their kids hate me. I'm not even making that up. I kind of feel like their kids were told some shit about me. But their kids are fucked up anyway. So, you said don't be with this person.
I said they were on the rocks, and I was like, good. Divorce her, get the fuck out of this.
Oh,
thing.
you actually told somebody to divorce.
Yes, I told them to divorce.
Wow, that's further. I say don't. I say don't go forward.
Yeah.
But I never said once a marriage. That's sacrimonial.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I said get out.
In the eyes of God and the law.
State.
Yeah.
State and church.
This woman was terrible.
You're terrible, though, because you were out.
How much worse of a
Like, I
person is
realize
she
now-
than you?
I
think she's
realize
much
now that I
worse.
was the wrong person,
Right.
even though everything that I said is true.
But that is the problem. You can't stand between two lovers when lovers bloom.
The really fun, weird thing is this person's last name is Bloom. Now I know.
Odd. Wait, this woman was just she was I felt she was using him. She was
For
foreign for money and a green card, and she
who
also didn't get
cares?
sarcasm. She was
Yes, because she's foreign.
She doesn't
It's very
speak
hard to get
English.
sarcasm.
she spoke English. She was Swedish.
No.
Can I
It's
just do,
very
like-
hard for them to get that.
An aside here, because it's interesting because I know somebody who's dating someone from Sweden right now. She's lovely. And we were talking about how we were out the other night and we were all having dinner and she was laughing and having a good time and getting all the jokes. And once in a while she would be like, oh, how do you say this? Or what is this reference? But I was like, don't you think it's weird that she's pretty good at picking up on humor? Like, I could imagine learning her language, but then to be clever enough to go, like, I'm getting a feel for the way you guys joke
Yeah,
around.
I don't get it.
I don't know how she's doing it.
Because we live in New York, we know a lot of foreign people here and, hang out at places with foreign people. I specifically don't do any wordplay around foreigners, unlike Chris, who would go so far as to sarcasm. Because this is what Chris probably did with her. You're a cunt.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to get
She's like,
that he didn't
why
mean it
are
that
you
way.
so mean? I'm kidding. Was that
Vito, you have anybody that you thought shouldn't be together?
I have a friend right now who me and Ian found out that this person is considering marrying somebody, and we've been talking about it. Like, we can't let them get married and move in together. But
I believe that I know someone who's with an insane person. An insane person.
Really?
Who
And you would say this person is normal. The other person.
has been all this time.
Yeah.
But he's allowing him or herself to be tortured.
Yeah,
Right?
that's not. Yeah, it's hard when you actually feel like somebody's in danger, even if the danger is just their own sanity. It's hard when that's a friend and you're like, this isn't good because I don't like the way this person treats you. I've had a couple friends in recent past where they broke up with someone lovely, then started dating someone that I did not like. And I was like, no, I can't say anything about that because, it's not that serious.
Right.
These women were not in danger. So I just let it go. And they're married to those people now. So I'm glad I didn't say anything. But
I'm thinking, do it anyway. Do it anyway.
You think
and
so?
I actually said this, and this might have come off the wrong way, but I said, look, her pussy has to be like garlic butter for you to go back when she's acting so loony with her brain. And he says, absolutely not. It's not like garlic butter. I go, it must be. I go, it must be like garlic butter where you just want to take the end of the bread and soak it all up. Because it can't be any other reason.
it's not her personality.
But I
We all know
honestly
that.
think, in a very psycho way, that she could end up stabbing him when he's in the shower. Because she's fucking psychotic. Like, she's not a bitch or a dick. I got plenty of friends married to assholes, dicks, and bitches. Right? Male and female.
See, that's what I'm thinking is like some of these circumstances I'm talking about are dicks and bitches.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't think that's enough. I mean,
That's
some
not
of them
enough.
are just like poor conversationalists. And I would just rather not be out at dinner with them.
I have so many friends, mainly my female friends, that I think, how is she married to this dull fuck? She must like a dull sexual experience. I don't get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's a fucking dick. I don't get involved. I'm concerned that this person is a fucking psycho killer. All right? Cascasque. So the purpose is, do you say it? Because I'm at the point now, I don't think I could change this, but I want it on the record.
Right.
And you know what? I want you to know when there's fucking knives going in your chest and neck. Like, who fucking told me to get out of this? Because you're going to be so freaked out. You're not going to exactly remember who told.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if there's a good way to approach it without just saying, hey, I'm a little concerned about this person.
I've had friends approach.
Really?
And he's like, no. I don't care.
Man, that's concerning.
He's going to get stabbed to death. I'm not even making that
That's
up.
really scary.
He's going to be stabbed to death until he dies.
Do I know this person? Okay.
I don't want to say. But if this Costa Rican bitch stabs him until he's dead. No. You know, of course, I didn't think you were happy in your last relationship, but I never brought it up to you.
Really?
Yeah, I thought she was fucking around on you.
She might have been.
Matter of fact, I'm sure of it.
Oh, sure of it, really?
Yeah.
What have you heard?
Well, it wasn't so much her what I did.
Okay.
That was
all
the
right.
worst part.
That's...
Oh, and I thought that Vito was in over his head.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
But it is nice to say it after, just so you know I already knew.
With some of your exes, Gail, I didn't tell you before, during, or after.
Yeah, it's a good idea not to do after because you never know. Because you
I don't
can
even
get
care
back
about
to
that.
Yeah, but it's like, but then they could get back together, and then that person always remembers, like, huh, you didn't like that person.
Okay.
I don't even talk shit on friends' exes because I've seen it happen too many times where people get back together. So I'm just like, oh, sorry.
You know what
to
I'll say?
Hear.
You back with the fucking bitch again?
My uncle drunkenly told me recently that he fucking hates one of my aunts and was like, I've held this in for 30 years, but I did not want those two to get married. And now I just don't even talk to my brother anymore.
Yeah, people get like that with their brothers. That's the thing that happens. When people get like that. They're just like, I don't know what he's doing. I haven't seen him in, 100 years. Literally 100 years will go by. Or something. I don't know what the thing about that. What's a century?
It's 100.
That's too long. It couldn't have been a century then. Trump keeps saying, I want to get out of Syria. Just go, dude.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one news thing or anything about Syria anyway. I don't even know what goes on there. It's all behind closed door.
I know he said he didn't want to send money there to help them.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't. Certainly not financially.
No.
I know he doesn't want to open doors for them.
Definitely not.
That he does not want to do. Doesn't want to send money.
Wait,
doesn't
I thought he
open
wanted to
doors.
let all the immigrants in here.
No.
Well, who am I thinking of?
I'm not sure.
The media?
I think the Statue of Liberty.
I think the libtards?
Let me tell you something about the fucking Statue of Liberty. She's not even an American. I like to get her out of the harbor. And then I like to put up a giant statue of Tiki Barber.
Tiki Barber in the harbor?
Yeah. Or Rondé. I don't care what barber it is. Tiki Barber is the barber of the harbor.
Tiki Barber is the barber of the harbor.
I don't know what the fuck is going on with Tiki Barber anymore.
Go, Tiki, go.
I met him when I was a kid.
Yeah? Were you the same height?
Close to it.
Thanks, Chris.
I didn't like my experience. He just gave me a high five, but all the fucking golf camp kids got an autograph. And as a sports camp member, I felt pretty insulted by that.
I don't blame you. Look, I'll tell you a fucking Tiki Barber story. So, one time, Gail's maternal grandmother is in town from Florida. We go into this little Italian place in my neighborhood. There's only one other table with anyone in it. It was Tiki Barber and another man. And I said to her, that's Rondé Barber's brother. And she's like, oh my God, he looks just like him. What does he do? And I'm like, well, he plays on the Giants. Because she's from Tampa. And we were sitting right next to them. And two men at a little table leaning up as close talking as you can imagine. That's all I'm saying about that.
Wow. It's interesting.
Some people are close talkers. I'm not. I like a little bit of space.
Yeah.
It is weird though, like if you see somebody in a place like that, you see an intimacy, like you're going to make an assumption. Because I had that happen once with a well-known playwright. I'm not going to give his name out, but I saw him in a circumstance.
Shakespeare?
No.
Okay.
Living, residing in New York City. I saw him out one day at a movie theater, and it was it was like a matinee. It was very early, and I saw him there with a man, and I saw him. They got a popcorn together, sharing a popcorn together. It's a matinee. They sat next to each other. It's theater, so I'm just like, oh, cool. That's his partner. And then, like, a year later, I was talking to other friends who are into playwriting, and I was like, oh, I think, I saw him with his partner, and they were like, he's not gay. He's married. And I'm like, I don't know what I saw there, but
he keeps a secret second life.
I did not find it to be, and I'm not being like so weird, like, oh, guys can't share popcorn. No. But it was more the.
It's that they can't share popcorn. They don't share popcorn.
Yeah, that's more like it. Like, I didn't think there was any moral thing about it. I just kind of thought, and a matinee, it just kind of seemed like a weekend matinee is like, you
Not
just.
something two guys do.
Yeah, like, it seemed like they just rolled out of bed together.
Weekend matinee is the strong part. Like, I can't get a friend to go with me to a matinee, so that's the part.
More than sharing a bag of popcorn that sits on one of your laps? I disagree.
I can share popcorn with any of my friends. I've done it tons of times, but nobody wants to go with me to a matinee.
He shares it. He does the thing where it goes on their lap, and then he just leans over and sticks his tongue out to get each individual
he puts
kernel.
a kernel in his mouth and leans over.
Yeah, 2 straws. I did do 2 straws recently with a friend.
Somebody told me that two guys should never split a dessert. And I'm like, I can see that, but I'm trying everybody's fucking dessert. I'm going to say, let me fucking taste yours. Because guess what? The chances of me ever getting that dessert are a long shot. Now, I'm never going to go, hey, can I try some of your chicken? I know what the fuck chicken tastes like, all right? But if it's blueberry ice cream, I'm going to fucking take a little bit. Yeah. That's not necessarily in my wheelhouse.
I mean, I'm comfortable with all shared desserts. I just assume that
you're a woman. You can do that. You're free to do that. We've got the shackles of masculinity hanging on us. And believe me, it's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing to do. We can't go together and look at fucking shoes. All 3 of us have to do it separately. You don't even let us know, are you ready? Are you doing anything? This is the thing that I like to push to you. Why?
I apologize.
But why? Does it occur?
It usually does, not today.
Why, though? You see that we're riffing in one direction.
Yes.
Does it occur to you, Veets?
No, it didn't occur to me.
This bit could have went on for a while, right?
Yes, it could have.
Well, keep your schedule.
Chris Crespo is coming in studio. Chris is the mascot for Comedy Fight Club NYC, which airs live on Periscope Sundays at 10 at Comedy Fight Club NYC on Twitter to watch. And Chris is the host and creator of the web series Handjobs, which is available on YouTube. And you can follow Chris on Twitter at CresPosts. Chris Crespo's in studio. Chris is the mascot for Comedy Fight Club NYC, airs live on Periscope Sundays at 10 at Comedy Fight NYC on Twitter to watch. And he's the host and creator of the web series Handjobs, which is available on YouTube at CresPosts on Twitter.
And Chris has done Comedy 101 with us a long time ago and killed. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us about Handjobs, first of all, because I thought that was fascinating.
Handjobs started off as like a few years back. I did these Instagram photos where I would do a job, and only a few of my friends really liked it, but like most of them wanted it to be like more than just a photo. And I didn't have like, at the time, I didn't want to like go into that because I thought it was like too much time and money. And then I started saving up, and I thought about doing it again. And I asked my friend Mike Lavin, who's like a really big videographer that I know. And he basically was like, I love this idea. Let's go with it. And we were originally going to do manicure, like nail salon as a first episode. Because we thought it would be easy. But all the nail salons were like, no, we're not having this. This is our business. This isn't a joke. And then it was another comic friend of mine, Darren Williams. I asked him because we were going to do Boxer later on,
right? And
he was like, "I'm ready to do this whenever you're ready." And I was like, "Screw it, I'll take Boxer as the first episode." And we went off to the races, and then the original title was still First Day Friday, which was the hashtag I used for those photos. And he was like, I don't like the title. The title is just like, doesn't fit what you're doing. And I had a whole list of like comedy album titles that I had because I'm like I don't know, I'm an idiot. And then
you're ready to play the next 15 albums.
Yeah.
Of your life.
I was like 30 titles, but the one that popped out was the 15th where it said hand jobs. And I was like, that's it. That's the show.
Right.
I gave it to him. He's like, that's perfect. Let's go. And then that's how it all started.
Well, everybody's always looking for a hook in comedy, something that makes them unique. But tell people, what is it about you that's unique when you want them to.
I am missing forearms.
Now, because of that, right? That gives you an entire thing of material that no one could steal from you.
Right.
That's the thing. Like when you came on stage, you did a joke. I don't want to get away because imagine you still come on stage doing that about putting on your pants, which I thought this is one of the funniest fucking
so
jokes.
good.
And no one else can do it. That's why I thought you
think
were
about
great.
it still. Like every once in a while, it'll pop into my head, and it's such a killer joke.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you had the room right from that bit, and that's what got to me. So with this, you were saying jobs that we would consider blue collar jobs, you're just not fit for, no matter what way you do it.
I think the idea of the show is just like I'm gonna try each job that's like outrageous, and I'm gonna keep going with it and see what happens. You know, like in the second episode, I tried to be a pianist, and I thought it would be great. And and we tried out all these songs, but when we played like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I found out that I can do it.
Right.
I didn't know. That was like a complete shock.
Yeah,
because I that was not planned at all.
Yeah,
but we try. Like I sit around with Mike and Matt, Marin, and myself, and we just think about like, okay, what would be a great idea for this, for this job. And sometimes, we plan about 2 a month just in case one falls apart. And it's going to be great. I mean, I have a few that I really, I can't wait to shoot them because they're really fun.
Yeah. And again, you don't know how this is going to. I think it's so much better to do it like this than it is to script a sketch out. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about hand jobs is like I wanted it to be natural. Like I wanted it to be like if I do a job and it involves customers, I want that interaction to be genuine as opposed to like, oh, someone comes in that I know, we play off each other, and then we'll see what happens. That we actually on the last episode we filmed, we had somebody get offended by what we were filming because I did the third episode was Street Performer, and I got the juggle, and we did this in front of a group of French tourists in Washington Square Park, and we just started doing it. And Laura High was like she was my teacher at the time for that episode, and we played it off like I wanted to be the headliner and she was going to be the assistant. She's like, no, I trained you. You're nobody. You just started. And we played this off back and forth while I was trying to juggle. And the French people were not interested whatsoever. They didn't give two damn. And I kind of like looked at like Laura and I was like, they don't care. So we walked back to camera, and we were looking around. We were like, all right, well that didn't work. Let's see if we can get somebody else or like find another shot. And one of the girls just walks over and goes, I don't understand this. I don't know why. Are we a social experiment? I don't get it. And Laura and Matt were like trying to like play this off and keep it going, and I was the only one that's like, no, you're in a skit. But she ignored me completely and was like, no, why are you making fun of this person? I'm like, I just told you were in a skit and you're ignoring me.
Right.
And then Matt was yelling at me for breaking character. I was like, this could escalate worse.
You never give up the bit.
I swear to God, I would rather watch that sketch though. You know what I mean? Like, I love to see things when they don't work out. That's always the best. And you watch like a lot of the hidden camera shows. I think this is by the time I'd be punching. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
I would fucking knock the fuck out of somebody.
I always think that with
shit.
the like what would you do, or did you
hate
do
that
the right
show.
thing? And they set up a
What would you do?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't help the black kid.
Yeah. Like, who agrees to be the person they show the face
I
while
know.
they just sit there and someone's beating their wife?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I didn't want to get involved.
I auditioned for one of those reality shows.
Really?
Did you
Which
really?
one?
I think it was the candid camera one. I don't remember, but I didn't get the part. It was I auditioned to be a disabled person in a reality show, and I didn't get the part.
That seems
So
hard.
that is
that's
one of-
harsh.
yeah, that's like that's insane. That's like I don't understand. That's like if I were to beat Michael Jordan in a shootout. You know, it's just that it doesn't understand. I was at the audition, and they wanted me to cry over a parking. So like this, the scene was this actress took a handicap parking space, and then I was saying like, hey, I want my space back. And that was like the whole scene that they were going to do in front of a live audience. And they were like, they told her like just to treat me like crap and ignore me, like I'm not a person. And then they went over to me and they're like, we don't want you to get mad. We just want you to get emotional and cry a little. And I was like, for a parking space? I mean,
that's not the way it would happen.
Yeah, I'll try. And I can't cry on demand.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So it was like, I was like, please. And just, that's all I did. And I was like, the producers were looking at their watch. They're on their phone. I was like,
God.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to lose them. I'm going to lose them. So I essentially just improvised, which was a really terrible idea. And I just ended up roasting this woman. And the producers then were like, oh my God, because like it never said in the script, like the cripple goes rogue. That wasn't part of the plan. And they were throwing her lines and I was just shooting them down each one. And it was like, I walked out of there. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh crap. I just threw away a TV gig for,
yeah.
It was, it was a very sad train
But-
ride over to an open mic.
You know what? Here's the thing. I can cry, but I don't think I could make myself cry. You know what I mean? Like every time I cry, it's like a sneeze. It's a surprise. I didn't see that emotion. I'm more likely to be. It's easier for me to cry because something is sweet and beautiful and life affirming than to cry out of sadness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I could agree with that. Like, I'm
Yeah.
an easy cry.
Right.
And yet I'm not so sure if somebody was just like, cry right now, I'd be like, okay, but I have to talk about something.
I was
first.
talking
Like-
to Tracy Morgan about this yesterday. There was things I got choked up a couple times watching his show, but not because of any of the bad stuff, just because of the sweet stuff in
Right.
life that
Yeah.
happens. You know what I mean? There was a scene that he tried to say to his kids, "Oh no, man, your mom was crazy." You know what I mean? And you could see that they were happy to learn it, and that caught me. I'm like, oh yeah, our kids don't meet that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The kids never meet the kind of fun you. And one time your cousin said to me about your brother, he goes, "No, when my dad was younger, was he tough?" Like, you fucking kidding me? My brother is fucking bad at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was scary tough. And he had never known that fucking person. So I just went and told him like 8 stories when I saw him fucking punch people in the face. And he was thrilled. That's the weird thing that happens. Vito, you're Italian, so you're an easy crier, right?
Yeah.
Can you cry on demand?
I can, like, there's things I can watch and do, but I don't think I can make myself cry, but I cry very easily.
Could you tell us a story right now that you would start crying?
I don't know, because I cried when I was on here talking about my mom's birthday. I started crying talking about my mom, but
I was crying when I was talking about your mom's ass. It was so adorable to me. It's like a little, you know. So yeah, you should cry about that. Chris, you never cry, right?
No, it's very rare.
If your girlfriend died and we had a funeral, could you cry?
Jesus, that's really sad. I don't even know if I could cry then because I didn't cry at my parents' funerals.
Oh.
Remember when you cried when Fez announced his retirement?
Yeah.
And no one believed you?
Well, that was real.
We ought to play that one day because he was going like this.
It was bad. I was real tear.
No, there were no tears. I can tell you there weren't tears.
Really?
But you were making an odd thing like you had something, like a piece of metal was stuck in your throat.
It's very hard for me to cry.
Yeah, a lot of men don't know how to do it. Gail, you're an easy crier?
I'm a really easy crier. Like,
Yeah.
people could tell me a story. I could literally just start talking about a scene in a movie.
Yeah.
I could watch a fucking commercial. Anything could make me cry.
Some of those things will catch me.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those things will catch me. But you never know when it's coming. If someone said you need to cry in the scene, I'd have
Yeah.
been like, yo.
I think that would have thrown me.
Chris, you don't plug it all?
Oh, I do. Chris Crespo's in studio. Chris is also the host and creator of the web series Hand Jobs. It's available on YouTube, and you can follow him at Cresposts on Twitter. And Chris is the mascot for Comedy Fight Club NYC, which airs live on Periscope Sundays at 10 p.m. at Comedy Fight NYC on Twitter to watch.
What club is that at when you do it?
It's not a club. We have it at Lucky Jack's. It's in the basement of a bar.
Uh-huh.
And it's very like Fight Club-esque. It's like we set up the chairs to be circular.
Mhm.
So you're surrounding the fighter, like the quote-unquote fighters. It's
Right.
just a bunch of two comics going in, roasting each other. But we set it up kind of like a wrestling vibe.
Yeah.
So it's like you get in, it's like, oh man, everybody's chanting and we have all these different things. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
The roasting thing, I think, I'm always surprised how many people really get their feelings hurt because I've been asked to come in and judge some of them, and they're like, "Well, this is the way that I'm like, I don't really like roasting." They're like, "Well, comics, this is the way they say that they love each other." I go, "All right, I'll come down," and then I'll just see somebody get really pissed off,
Yeah.
and because these roasters will be like, "Well, Chris's dad died of blah blah," and I'm like, "That's his dad that died that you're just bringing up." I see women doing it, and it'll be someone said your brother had AIDS and died. I'm like, I don't know where you go from there. I just think they're all awful people. There's terrible, awful people that should be in the basement of Lucky's, surrounded by chairs. How long you been doing stand up?
About 4 years now.
And you're still hanging with the guys that you came in with, or how's that work?
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah.
Some people like they disappeared or moved out.
Funny, right? How that happens.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weeding process, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the people that I started with have been around. You know.
I know when I talk to some people that I think would like Soder and Joe List took like comedy club fucking classes and met each other. I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. Why would you have done that? And they go, well, that's where I met, Mark Norman. I'm like, what? It always seems nuts to me. And yet it happens that you never took any classes, did you?
I did.
You did?
Poorly. Yeah, sadly I did. But I did because like I'm one of those people that's like, when I want to learn something,
Yeah.
I want to learn. I want to go in there. I want to experience it. I can't do it like firsthand. I want to know from someone, and then like once I know the ropes, once I get it, I'm like, oh, I can then use what I've learned and then push from that or advance what I've learned. Like I used to have my first year. I used to have trouble just picking up the microphone. I didn't have the confidence to pick up the microphone out of the stand.
Right.
And what I found out was if I wore my wristwatch and I rested the microphone on the wristwatch, I can use that kind of as a thumb and then rest it on my chin. And then I can basically move around like a regular person, just like anything else.
Right.
But there was always this awkward tension in the beginning that I used to throw it away. And now I just use that to
Good.
start it. And it's this very awkward, like when I put the mic stand behind me, I'll let it rattle a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when it stops, I just go, hi. And then it's like this weird sort of like
Yeah.
it sets the room.
Now you're controlling something that no one else has controlled like that before.
Yeah. And it really gets the audience to sort of pay attention a little bit. And
Yeah.
then I just hit them with the jokes.
Yeah.
But it took a while,
Sure.
But
But it does for everybody. It's
Yeah.
really weird how it does for everybody. And it's even interesting when you go back and watch like early Fallon or early Conan, and you're like, oh, that guy sucked then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you're doing, if it's new, you don't have out who you are.
But it is interesting that the beginning is just figuring out for everyone that physicality. Like everybody gets nervous with that idea, like, do I hold the mic and where does the stand go? Or am I like leaning on something or does that look like I'm trying to be like, there's so much awkwardness in trying to figure out how just to be like a normal person standing up in front of people.
Before I did an open mic, I went to like a Radio Shack or something and said, do you have any mic stands and mics here? And I was just like, is this how you take it in and out? And then I still went, I'm not going to try that. That's too much. I mean, can you imagine like just being concerned about that?
Totally.
Yeah. Because you look fake. Like here I am with a mic.
Yeah.
Like an unsinging Mick Jagger.
Yeah, I feel like the big thing for me was not even just taking it out, but also anything that has to do with adjusting because I'm a short person. Yeah. So like, I'm like, what if I go up there and I try to like lower it, and then I'm like, if it's too high, what do I do? Then I have to take it out. Like that stuff is like really, you like the last thing you want to do is look like you're like fumbling around like, hell, does this work before I get to my part?
But I embrace that. I
Yeah.
embrace that wholeheartedly because the longer I have a problem with something technically wise, then the audience is like focused on me, and then I can go, oh, I can do this joke and bring them closer. And it's kind of like a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They're like cautious about it or they're scared about having that awkward moment. But if you have that awkward moment, the audience kind of feels for you, and that's a good thing. But when you land that first joke, they're going to be with you.
Right.
They're going to be with you the whole way through.
Has anyone heckled you though?
Oh, I've had one really bad heckler, but it was like it escalated to a point that I was like, oh my God. I was practicing for I think it was 20 minutes for a university show, and I did a mic in Trenton, and there was a drunk guy that heckled me, and I was like, I was already bombing, but it was like one of those things where I was like, forget it, I have to practice 20 minutes. I'm just gonna run through the material. But then these two guys at the bar were talking back to the heckler, and it was like this thing of like, let's go outside. And I was like, guys, just ignore it. It doesn't matter. So I was the one protecting the heckler from getting his ass kicked outside of the bar.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to practice 20 minutes. I'm here defending a guy that heckled me. Oh my God. It was so, oh my God. Every time. It was just, but I've never had like a person heckle right out of the gate.
Right.
You know, people are like way too scared or like they don't want to get involved because I don't open my mouth unless I have all that stuff in order. Yeah. Unless I pull the mic stand out of the stand and I have it ready to go, I don't say a word. So people are just assuming if you haven't seen me and you see me do all that, you don't know what kind of, am I developmentally, disabled? Right. Do I have a speech impediment? Is it going to be hard? Nobody knows until I finally say the first words that come out of there. It's like this quiet silence because they want to know.
Fucking fascinating, man. Yeah. Like I said, you're working in a way that people haven't worked before. You know what I mean? Because no one gets the chance at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's one of those things where I just had to learn. I had to, it got to a point, like when I first started, I wasn't embracing that. I wasn't embracing that awkward. I wasn't embracing the situation with a disability at all. I wasn't embracing that. And I kept bombing. I kept messing up. And I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And I had another comic friend of mine, David Spector. We went out for Chinese food. He's like, why don't you ever talk about your disability stories? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be pandering. And that was like when I first started, that was like the real worry that I had was like, oh, I don't want to be one of those comics where it's like, I get a clap every time when I mention disability or I achieve something because I don't feel like that's funny. But he was like, that story about the first story that I had that I did on stage about disability was when I met a fireman when I was a little kid. And I did that joke and I wrote it down as the way it happened. And then I just started developing it and cutting it and making it more into a joke format. And that's kind of like what I've been doing. Anything awkward that's happened with me, I'm like, oh, this is great. I want to use that and I want to push it and see where the funny is and then right to where that joke is.
Yeah.
right to where the laugh is, and then develop that into a joke format. And then that's sort of what gets me through. It's a lot of work, though.
Yeah, of course, but it's like when you give of yourself, right? Like then people are able to jump in. There are a lot of women who work that I'll be like, oh fuck, I've done that to women. Like instead of identifying with them, I identify with the guy who fucked up.
Yeah.
And it kills me. It fucking lays me out. I think it's the funniest shit that you can do is just to point out, here are humans, and most of it is awkward. Most human interactions are awkward.
But the thing too about figuring out what it is about yourself that's unique and like that you can only tell stories from yourself. Even like you're saying, women. I've talked to women who said like they kind of at first thought that they were just supposed to sound like any comic,
right?
And so they were like, I won't even bring up that I'm a woman. Like, I don't want to, because I don't want to alienate people and think I'm just a woman's comic until they get to the point that they go, oh no, there's no way to deny that I am a female standing here.
And why would
it'd be
you?
weird
Like,
to do that.
The whole point is like so if a black comic's like, I don't like to do black material, whatever material you do is tied in to your experiences, And like I said, the other side is when you point that out, you can in your fucking head go, do I act like the person who's the dick in this? And most of the time we do. We're not great fucking people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not perfect. Chris, you don't do plugs. That's your thing.
Chris Crespo's in studio. He's the host and creator of the web series Hand Jobs, which is available on YouTube, on Twitter, @CresPost. And Chris is the mascot for Comedy Fight Club. NYC airs live on Periscope Sundays at 10 p.m. from the basement of Lucky Jack's. And follow Comedy Fight NYC on Twitter to watch.
We met you, I guess who was booking that then? I guess, was it Dan?
Dan
Yeah.
Perlman, probably.
Yeah. So you guys had done a bunch of the same kind of clubs, a lot of Brooklyn stuff in Queens?
I mostly did Manhattan and a couple stuff in Queens.
Is that right?
Yeah. I barely go into Brooklyn, but I do Brooklyn shows. Like I do my friend Dan Wick's show at the Platform every now and then. But I don't know. I haven't done Brooklyn in a while. Like I don't do Brooklyn that much.
Right.
And it's funny because when I go to Brooklyn, there's always like this, I don't know, if it's like hipster area.
Yeah.
I always get that moment of like, well, I'm going to talk about disability in a very awkward way, and they're not going to like it,
right?
Because it's not pandering.
Yeah. So because they're somewhat more sensitive. That generation is more sensitive.
They're mostly my age, but they act like they're 13. Like everything's like, oh, I don't want to do. And it's like, come on, like I'm doing a joke.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
But no one else has ever, no other generation until this one has had to deal with an audience that was unsure about themselves. And I mean that not as a way of attacking them, but I think that there's been a generation that has grown up with is that okay?
Yeah.
Where my generation didn't grow up with
Which
that
also
at all.
comes from lessons being taught to them.
Yeah.
That's not
from kindergarten on.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
like, there's no reason that a generation would just like be like that for no reason.
Right.
So it definitely comes from something. But yeah, I think that it comes from being taught to be cautious and sensitive and aware of differences instead of embracing differences, being like, well, the differences don't bother me. Instead
look, no one in my generation would have laughed at, hey, look, he's black. He dances with a banjo. But my grandparents would have, you know what I mean? And I wonder if they're like, what's with these guys today? They're such pussies.
Find blackface funny.
Yeah, they don't think blackface is funny at all. And do you imagine like the last guy doing blackface was probably just putting it on going, it's going to come back. You know what I mean? People will eventually get back to it. Because I have comics all the time going, when do you think it'll roll back the other way with audiences? And I go, when has anything ever rolled back? I don't think it will. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. Just the idea of going to a show and then just having a guy in blackface. Like, all right, everybody, here's a song and dance number. Oh my God. I'd pay to see that. That'd be really funny.
Well, the Marx Brothers one of them just pretended to be Italian. You know what I mean? One of them, the joke, Chico's joke was, look at me, I'm an untrusting Italian. And people would laugh. And like, no one was ever like, do you realize that you Jews are making fun of an Italian? But why was that? I mean, you couldn't get anybody to laugh at that now, you know? Although people said Dice pretended that he was Italian. You know what I mean? He was a Jewish guy.
That's true.
Yeah, and he was acting like, I don't know, Fonzie or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Dice was in trouble for other things, not...
Yeah, no one ever really got mad at him about that.
Yeah.
Who was mad at him? I guess it was gays were mad at him and Kinnison at the same time. But, and Eddie Murphy just would, I mean, if you go back and watch, if you showed Eddie Murphy stuff to younger kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not going to dig.
Doesn't he open his special with like fag?
Yeah,
like
there was
4 or 5 times.
Yeah, there is, and I think it was listed that way on the album. And then the second one was just like more or like some like faggots 2 or something, and you're just like what? And then even now, like I think he would say, "No, well, I don't hate them. I was just saying how they act.
It's
jokes.
It's ridiculous. It's like we can't even joke about anything anymore without everybody getting all mad."
Well, the what is it, Chris?
All right, so the first track is faggots.
Look how hard it was for you to say it.
I mean, the second track is buckwheat, which.
I mean, we're only live.
Yeah.
Like,
I go to his second album though. Revisit it.
Yeah.
Revisit it. Oh my God, that's great.
/ sexual crime.
And he opens with 8 minutes of that.
Jesus Christ, that's great.
That's the opening stuff too. It's not anything to like warm them up to like, hey, this is the kind of guy I am. It's just like hit them with the good stuff right away.
Oh man.
Now the amount of black guys who just drop the N-bomb on stage is amazing. Like, you know, I'll be at the stand, and then if there's, you know, 3 or 4 comics on the bill, you'll hear it a couple hundred times. Wait, that's just during charade. But no white guy could even slip it in as an example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we were giving the example of what Eddie Murphy said, and we fucking put a big toe in. You know what I mean? Like, he does a bit.
And this is his words.
Yeah, not mine.
But yeah, like, what if you were to just go up next and then just say, wasn't it funny how when he said this? Like, even if you were just repeating line for line.
Well, here's what the other night, Monroe Martin does this thing when a woman and an old lady in Arizona just said, dropped the N-bomb at him and pointed him on stage and said it not with the A but with the ER, and it's hilarious when he tells the story. And it's just, you know, crushingly weird, and everybody's laughing and going back and forth, and I'm emceeing, and then, you know, Monroe says, all right, thanks. And then I jump on stage and I said to a guy, I go, hey, I just came in here. What was Monroe? What did that lady call Monroe? I didn't get a chance to hear it. And he physically backed up. But seconds before, it was the funniest thing in the world. But we live in a world where you can laugh at Monroe saying it,
right?
But you can't even tell the story.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
this is adult behavior.
Oh yeah,
that we're doing.
Yeah. Then retard is starting to get in that.
Oh, it's
level.
out, dude.
Yeah.
It is out.
Oh, it's starting to get in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think retard is still funny.
It's hard when you grow up saying it. Like that's it's a difficult thing when you're just like, oh, that's just what we said, and we literally weren't thinking about any specific person when we said it.
And I literally grew up that way with the N-word in my neighborhood, and I didn't live down south. I lived outside of Philly.
Yeah,
yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, it would be like literally, don't treat me like when you were fighting with somebody. It was crazy, and all that stuff I said and learned because it was like the group behavior. I never made like a conscious decision.
Right.
Here's the best way to talk. You know, we do it. We're raised by our families, our school, and also our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And people never take that. And because if you have that for many years, it's hard for you to make the change. You know what I mean? You have to consciously make the change. And that's what Trump is going through right now. That's why every day is a struggle for him. We're wrapping this up, Chris?
Yes, we are. Chris Crespo has been in studio. Chris is the host and creator of the web series Handjobs, which is available on YouTube, on Twitter, at CresPosts. And Chris is the mascot for Comedy Fight Club NYC. Airs live on Periscope Sundays at 10 p.m. at Comedy Fight NYC on Twitter to watch.
And like we said, you've only been doing this for 4 years, but you are finding your own voice, and it's very, very cool.
Thank you.
All right, man. Good to have you. And we'll do this again sometime, all right?
Yeah, anytime.
All right, Vito, anything you need to plug?
No, nothing I need to plug.
Nothing about any of the things that are coming up?
Nothing I need
All right.
to plug.
We'll do that again soon. All right, that's it for us. See you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!